recording. All right, we on
Yep.
this thing, man. What's cracking?
What's popping? What's popping?
What's cracking? When I said I wanted to start a podcast myself, I was like, I'm gonna have bro on.
Oh yeah, yeah. I appreciate it first of all
Yeah,
because it seemed like we kind of some of our views and whatnot align as far as like
yeah,
some of the things you've been posting. Obviously, some of the stuff that I post, and then I don't think we rarely disagree, but we do have different points of views about stuff. But more important than anything is it's good to talk to different folks and get different perspectives and really bring some of these issues. I don't know if we want to call them issues, but definitely some of these topics,
yeah.
to
A
the
lot
light.
of a lot of stuff don't be issues.
Hmm.
Motherfuckers just don't know how to disagree and go their separate ways. Be like, damn, yeah, that's cool, bro. You feel that way, I feel this way. Shit,
Yep.
at least we all humans at the end of the day. You got a different perspective. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm. I
That's
agree.
what it be. That's why my first podcast. My thing is them now. Oh shit! Hold on, bro. Hold on. I gotta fix this real quick. I got a little thing on my computer where it got like a lock on here, so my nephew don't be on here all the fucking night. Hold on. I gotta close that out real quick. All right, my shit might cut off like 3 more times before it let me do the thing.
Like what your mic? I mean, you sound everything sound good to me. I'm not sure what I'm
Nah, nah, nah.
supposed. Oh,
So it's my screen go black on my end because
oh, okay.
it's a timer on here. I call it nigga. Like, bro, I was calling you while you was on the podcast. Why didn't nigga answer?
Because I'm on a podcast.
that
They people know
nigga
my
supposed to call me. He's supposed to call me back after 10 minutes.
and you had already told them what you was doing.
Nah, this was way earlier.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Nah,
that
I'm doing
that's
this. I'm doing this now. So
yeah.
I hit you when I'm done. Damn, I wish he gave me a pin shit right now. No, it's gonna. I know it's gonna cut out again. This shit happened last time. It happened a lot later though. Let me see if I can fix this.
So what made you decide to get into the podcast game, or just like, cause this gonna essentially be the second episode?
Yeah, it's the second episode.
Okay, okay,
So what made me want to do a podcast is so it all started from when I used to do Uber. So when I was doing Uber, I was having all these great conversations with people. I was
yeah,
like, man, I wish I could share these conversations with people. That way people can see it's okay to disagree with people as long
definitely,
as y'all got to understand that hey, we humans, we might have been raised different, we might have grew up in different places, but at the end of the day, we all humans and we could
yeah,
walk away from this conversation without trying to kill each other and stuff like that and go being at each other next.
yeah, definitely.
So that was my whole thing.
Okay.
And then keep it a buck. I like talking to people. I like having conversation with people. I say this is my therapy.
Now I feel honestly like I think those two reasons is reasons enough because I think what I noticed throughout the pandemic, a simple disagreement was becoming volatile. You feel where I'm coming
Yeah,
from? And it's really the bad side of social media, right? Like I don't think when they created social media, they meant for people to be going at each other's throats and shit like that on a regular basis. I feel like it was you feel me created to to open up people's not environments, but like really give you an opportunity to reach out and touch other folks that you wouldn't otherwise be able to do, right? Like I think we both in the Bay, but you can easily have a legitimate conversation and even create some kind of friendship with somebody on the other side of the world, right? And it all through
yeah,
social media. But somewhere along the lines, the social media shit then got out of hand. And so like I like stuff like this to where like you said, you can just have a conversation with somebody and express different views, take something from it, you know, might even, change the way you think at certain things because you might not have looked at them in the same way before you had a conversation with somebody. So, like, I think I like the good side of social media. I don't really like the other side of social media where, like I said, I guess the best word I can describe it is like it's volatile. Like it can get real out of pocket for no other reason outside of just you disagree with somebody. And it used to
I
be where you can have a conversation with somebody and it wouldn't have to go that far, but
Nah, you know
not
what it
today.
is. I tell you what it is, and I talked about it on the last podcast. Everybody that got an opinion now, their opinion is their identity. It's not
Yeah,
just an opinion no more. It is this my identity. This is whatever I think or whatever I say is me. And it's like, nah, bro, that's just your opinion. Nah, you challenge my opinions, nigga. Fuck you. You a bitch ass nigga. I'ma kill you. Like, bro, damn, bro, just an opinion, bro.
right, right,
Calm
right.
down.
hmm
Like, nigga, opinions change,
hmm they
motherfuckers.
change with new information. Like
Yeah,
as you gather new information, your opinion should change. I feel like if it doesn't, then you just really want to be stuck in that opinion because it should change as you gather new information. Like it's a lot of different things that I believe in, but like I've said this before, I'm very much a black and white kind of person, right? Like I see things as just either this or that, but I
yeah.
have allowed myself to really adopt the views of there being a gray area in things because to be honest there are gray areas in things, right? But now you're right, I like the way you said that because like people really like it's not just their opinion anymore. It's like they standing on it. Something that you really shouldn't really be standing on.
Yeah,
They standing on it with so much like assertion that really
yeah.
shouldn't have to be that way, right? Like it's just an opinion, and like you said, it will change because it should change. But like you're right about that. It's the world we live in now, and it's kind of many.
And what also don't make it better, and this is why when I have certain conversations with certain people, I'll take it. If I'm on Instagram, I won't have it in the comment section. I'm
Yeah,
taking it to the DM. Because
yeah,
if I
I
take
noticed
it
that.
there, you don't gotta you we don't have other people chiming in, giving in their opinion. And that's also making people hunker down because they got confirmation bias. Oh no, I'm
Yeah,
right. This person said I'm right. Nah, that nigga don't know what he talk about either.
right, right,
That,
right.
that nigga don't know what he talk about. He just telling you right because he think he right. The
Yeah.
information he got was wrong information. So now y'all got y'all wrong information and y'all just spreading wrong information.
And see, perception is reality, right? So like the way you perceive something that really is your reality. And you're right about the taking it to the DMs. And I know I don't have a Twitter no more, but when I did have a Twitter, I kind of seen how there was like this community of power loans where like, you know,
Yeah.
like people was jumping like it was just weird. It was an interesting, aggressive kind of dynamic. And the one thing I learned on Twitter was how to, I wouldn't say deflect, but definitely how to like take somebody's aggression on the comment that they gave or whatever, and then like kind of like handle it with care, so to speak, right? Like because when you kind of, for a lot of better words, fight fire with fire, like nothing gets done. But like when you, if you smart enough and intelligent enough to kind of manipulate the conversation to where you get your point across, but you don't fall into the trap of arguing, and that's a
Yeah.
skill.
Yeah. I try to on Instagram, I try my hardest. Cause some people be saying dumb. I know it's stupid, but I try my hardest to be like, that sounds stupid as fuck, nigga. Or bitch, you what's wrong with you? That sounds I try my hardest not to call people out their names. Cause it at the end of the day, it's really a conversation for me. I
Yep.
try not to make it an argument. But some people just want to argue. I mean, I'll go back and forth with you, but I try not to make it to where it get in the name calling, because that's where it just digressing like,
Yeah.
oh, now nobody's learning nothing from this.
No, I know with me when it come to, disagreeing or somebody saying some out of pocket shit, or even when they kind of get a little racial, like I usually kind of repeat back what they said in a way that they can hear themselves, so to speak. Like it's
Hmm.
words, but like you, I learned that a while ago, right? Like you kind of put the ball in their court a little bit more because it's like, oh, okay, so this is what you're saying, and then, when you read the words, you really like, oh, yeah, I guess I am saying that, and so people kind of check themselves a little bit. But the other thing I noticed before, like when I I always take time before I comment back. Like
Yeah,
if you comment like instantly, you usually impulsively commenting, right? And you
yeah,
ain't really got your gave yourself an opportunity to let the comment sink in. And so you really just shooting from the hip. But
yeah,
if you look at the comment for a little bit, even go step away, do something else for a second, and then come back to it after you thought about it for a second, because I feel like like you want to say something. Like if you feel like what they're saying is wrong, or if you feel like they're getting at you, however you interpret it, like you definitely can defend yourself. But you know, I think it's smart to like not just fly off the handle. Like really, like okay, what am I like? What are they saying, and what point am I trying to come across? Because one thing I don't like, and I might sound kind of kind of violent here, but like I don't like going back and forth with somebody that I can't. I hate to say this, but like it's the truth. It's my truth that I can't put hands on. And I'm not saying I want to beat every like I don't I don't want to like I don't want to come across as like I could just handle everybody. But I feel like as men, like
yeah,
as the way we grew up, right? Like I know the way I grew up. I'm from the city, so like
yeah,
the way we grew up, it's only so many words you have before you get to throwing them hands, right? And so,
yeah,
like, I think people on social media have got life kind of fucked up to a certain degree where, like, they can just keep talking and talking and talking. And the way that I am, I'm like, I don't have much more to say to you because, like, you ain't down the street, you ain't outside my house. So, like, I can't reach
yeah.
out and touch you. So, why would I even allow myself to get that mad? I also take that same approach when it comes to women because some women kind of get a little out of pocket on Instagram
Oh
and whatever,
man,
too, right? And so, like, I look at it like, well, I don't hit women anyway, and so like I can't. Soon I'm going to still look like a sucker to a certain degree if I'm just going back and forth with a chick, right? Like you never gonna have the upper hand on that situation.
yeah,
So
cause
like that's how I handle that with men and women, right? Like if why like you ain't I can't step to you, I don't know where you at, so what am I doing this for? And then a chick
yeah,
is like, I'm not gonna win this one anyway.
yeah. That with females, I ain't gonna lie. Arguing on the internet is set up for females.
Yeah, it
Cause
is.
all they gotta do is say, I said what I said. Be like, all right, I know I got. Like, all right, I don't know how to respond to that because I ain't got nothing else to say. Because once you say that, she ain't gonna respond no more. So it'll be like,
Yeah.
all right, whatever. You think you won, but you ain't. You ain't
And
really said nothing.
not and you know it's funny what you said a couple minutes ago, like there are certain men and women that try to kind of put on for people that's watching, like people seeing these comments, so they say slick and foul and all kind of other stuff because they doing that for the audience.
Yeah,
And like I even see people like they will say something, but then when you comment back, they don't accept comments if you don't follow them, and it's like, oh, okay, so you just
yeah.
kind of
I
want
hate
to.
them type of niggas.
I can't stand it either because I'm like, well, you said what you said. You should allow or give somebody the opportunity to kind of rebut what you said, and we should be able to have a friendly, respectful, casual back and forth without it getting out of hand. And so, like I said, when I get those, I like them. I can't stand the other side of it. Like I said, I can't stand the other side of that. But like that's just me because I found myself like like you could take this shit with you. Like you see a couple comments, you see a
Oh man,
video, man, you could take it with you in the real world. And it's like, well, wait a second, it's real, but like it's just on my screen. So you got to
yeah,
learn how to shut it out.
yeah. And a lot of times it'd be like, so sometimes with my videos,
Yeah,
like in the comment section, like I'll be going back all day, but I'll be like, nigga, I'm at work. I gotta debrief for an hour. I can't be
hmm
going back with the forth with this motherfucker all day.
yeah, nah, it's true. It's really really true. And then you might wake up to some shit and you like, man, I forgot, I don't even remember. And then like, or a comment would come up 3 4 weeks later and you're like, we've been past that, it just made its
What
circulation.
you
And
talking
I'm
about, bro?
like I like damn, like that was 4 weeks ago, like you late, but like the shit circulate. And so
Yeah,
like again, like I said, man, I really do. Like I said, I like the good side of social media. There's an underbelly that I'm cool on, and so like I've like kind of I got my little. I guess you would say I got my little tactics of how I kind of just like dodge that shit because it get
yeah,
mania on there.
I mean, it do like with me posting them videos every day. You don't
Yeah,
see all the comments I be sending. I be some people really be going back and I mean, it's cool to go back and forth with me, but I could tell some people really while they texting me, they really over there getting angry. Like, nigga,
Yeah,
blah blah blah
yeah,
blah blah.
yeah.
I'm like, all right, this motherfucker over there getting angry. I'm like, it's cool, but it'd be like, bro, it ain't that serious.
Nah, especially when like the different videos like you posted about like three in the last week, right? Like
Hmm.
you had a conversation about the Britney situation, we got the kids, and then I think it was a little dating one, right? And so like
Yeah,
all of those, I think all three of them are great conversations in their own right. You get what I'm saying? Like I even talked to my wife about almost everything, right? Like, and you know, because I like to get her perspective from stuff, right?
hmm,
Um, and so like it's mainly because like it's crazy to see the people's perspective about some of the stuff, right? Like you
yeah,
posted one with the whole stripper situation, right? And you had girls in the comment talking about like, you know, she can do whatever she want for us, however, as long as you want. It's like, I mean, you can. I don't know why you feel so strongly to defend that, but like you can if you want, but there's repercussions to that. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So
and that's and a lot of women don't. I don't think they really understand that. I started to understand it a few years ago.
yeah,
Uh, when you probably know who Patrice O'Neal is.
yeah,
When I let's start listening to him, that's when I really understood. I'm like, they really don't understand. You could post all these naked pictures all you want. You can have an OnlyFans all you want, but they don't really understand as a woman, as you get older, all this stuff is gonna matter a lot more to men, the ones you're trying to date, than it is for the stuff we do as we get older.
yeah. So it's mainly that you say it's not mainly because so like I remember when I was younger and I I was mature, right? So like I remember kind of noticing when I got hip to like double standards, right? And I looked at them and I really like started to analyze like, okay, how does the world look at men versus how the world look at women? And I remember OG told me he told me a line. He was like, "Aunt, you know, dick ain't shit, but pussy is sacred." And I was younger, so I was like, "What you mean by that?" But as I got older, I really understood it, and I really like I picked up what he was putting down
Yeah,
because it allowed me to really look at like the double standards of men and women and like the things that we society says that we can do versus what they can do. And I started to
yeah,
really trip off the balance that like when you start to disturb the balance of these like double standards, you just because you kind of want to, like there's repercussions of them. And I've always believed that like there's double standards that work in men's favor and there's double standards that work in women's favor. And so like I have noticed like over the years, like you have a segment of women that kind of like want to do and be like men, but there's consequences to that. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like, and you can do whatever you want because we are in this time where it's like, go ahead. Like, I got two daughters. I'm all about women empowerment, but I'm also about like the reality of the situation where it's like if you move like a dude, there's gonna be consequences for that later because that's just how society works. And then there's
yeah.
going to be double standards that work in our favor as well. And then there's going to be double standards that don't work in our favor. Like you
Hmm.
think about child support court. I've been through that. That's a double standard that only works in the woman's favor. But I
Yeah,
shit, it is what it is, right? Like I just do my part, pay my shit, and you know, and it is what it is, right? It don't make no sense to complain about it because like it's never gonna change. So it's a
but
two-way street.
that's the difference between men and women, right?
Hmm.
The only people complaining about double standards is women. I mean, you
Yeah.
got some men complaining about it, but them niggas, you be like, nigga, you probably soft, nigga. You don't get no bitches anyway, nigga.
I
I know
and
you don't get no bitches,
no,
nigga.
you right about that because it's guys that would consider themselves alphas or just kind of like I consider myself like a very traditional man, right?
Yeah,
Like I don't care, right? Like there are some that don't work in my favor. I know what they are, and I navigate life with the knowledge of that. I don't run around complaining about it, right? But
yeah,
so it's certain type of dudes that do that. But you're right about like when it comes to people complaining about them, most of the time it is women. Um, and that's how that go.
yeah. I think they feel like the way they even the playing field is trying to change every double standard. It was like, no, I don't care what you say. These double standards is locked in and they gonna stay.
Yeah.
Like what's funny on the last podcast, I tell people this is my thing to combat where women be like, well, men cheat. I'll be like, well, y'all also get to slap niggas and nobody say nothing. I'm like, until we change that, it's gonna be okay for niggas to just fuck all the bitches. Cause that is y'all version of that. Y'all get to slap niggas and don't nobody care. It's tons of video out there where women they just hit niggas, then they do the opposite, then somebody step in. Even
I
where we see these videos where these kids in school and the girls just in that nigga face. I'm like, he gonna only take so much. It's only so much a person could take
you're
before
right
they
about
before
that.
they snap back. And it'd be like, what are we doing here?
I think one of the things that both men and women need to do, and it sounds kind of mean, but it's really some truth. Like we got our place, and for lack of better words, without trying to sound like some sexist kind of jackass, like women had a place too, right? Like we both have our place, and like I always speak from my household's perspective. I'm married.
Yeah,
I just got I got an 8 month old and I got another daughter. You feel me, from a different relationship. But I'm married and my household is pretty traditional. But there are some things that my wife is better at doing. Like when it comes to putting IKEA shit together or like my weight stuff right there in my home gym or whatever, like she better at that than me. I help. You feel me? I allow her to not allow, but I let her give her space to kind of do her thing, and then like when she need my perspective or if she need, you feel me, my point of view, because my brain is different from hers, considering that I'm left-handed. I'm all aboard, right? Like when it comes to like cleaning the garage, because I know I throw stuff away more than I find a place for it. That's her thing. So when she want to
mm-hmm.
do that, she like, like this weekend I want to clean the garage or whatever. I'm like, that's fine. Like if there's anything heavy or something, leave that for me so I can put it up or whatever. But like she knows where she wants stuff to go. And right, like, and usually you would think, well, that's a guy's thing, right? Like, but not like that's her thing. But like
Yeah,
when it comes to the trash and all that kind of shit, I take care of that, right? So like you just kind of fall in line naturally. And I think we've gotten to a place where people don't want to just like fall in line the natural way. They keep trying to like buck the system,
yeah,
and that kind of like makes problems for both sides, right?
yeah.
Like every both sides are guilty of doing that shit to a certain degree, and so like that's why I feel like traditional roles are good to a certain degree, right? Like, but
Mm-hmm.
we ain't got to talk about them. Just fall right into them. If we hear a thump in the night, she know I'm getting up to check it out. Ain't
Yeah,
nothing to talk about. You feel me?
yeah. I'm there.
Yeah.
But that's my job as a man.
Hmm.
I'm supposed to go like I was gonna do another podcast. I've been trying to do podcasts for a minute. Then I got to the point where I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna just do it myself. Fuck it. I'm gonna try to see if I can get guests on here and see what I could do. I was talking to this dude and we was talking about like roles and stuff. And we got to a point where I was like, nah, a man is supposed to protect a woman. He was like, no, the society is doing that. I'm like, not really. I'm like, in my outlook on stuff, the way I boil everything down and the way I get to the root of everything, I
Yeah.
go all the way back to cavemen. What did
Yeah.
cavemen do? Because that is the foundation. Without cavemen, none of this shit would be here. People
If
can
they
say they
had,
was primitive, they wasn't smart. I mean, they got us here. So they did something right, and a lot of the stuff they did lasted for so long.
yeah,
So he gonna say what he said. I was like, so if your girl, if something happened, you gotta protect your girl. He was like, I don't have to. He was like, that's society saying. I'm like, I could. I mean, I respect his opinion, but me personally, I
yeah.
couldn't understand that. I
Nah,
just couldn't.
and like you think about like you talk about whether it's primitive, and then like you just like I said before, you just like what's understood don't need to be discussed. I feel like people who kind of want to like have an opinion or change stuff that's kind of like you let's think about it like this. Like we're talking about women getting paid fairly. I think that's a no-brainer. Me personally, if somebody
Mm-hmm.
thinks differently, that's fine, right? But me personally, if a woman is doing the same job as a guy, she should get paid the same fucking amount of money, right? Like there
Mm-hmm.
should be no reason outside of like unless he was doing a job that had more responsibility, and so like that's why. But like those are the things we should be trying to change. Like I think that men should protect women, right? Because there are some out of pocket ass dudes that
Yeah.
that be on some other shit, right? Like there's kids that are involved, unfortunately,
Hmm.
because there wasn't a man in the household, and there's been clips of like pedophiles and sexual offenders that have talked about like what they look for when they want to kind of like
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, right? And
I
so
know
like
exactly
most
what
of
you're
the
saying.
time, yeah, so most of the time they say like, oh, it's gonna be a woman that don't, have a man in the household, right? And so like, if you just keep it that simple, you know what I mean? But like
Hmm.
if a dude says that, oh, society tells us that, but that's not true. That's just because you don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Like I would consider you soft, but maybe that's not that's not nice in 2023. But the way I was raised and how I came up, that's soft. Like if you run away from your responsibilities and stuff that you should be doing, that's some sucker shit to me, right? Like,
You
but
know
if
it's
you want to do
crazy.
that, that's okay. But I still think it's some sucker shit.
You know it's crazy. He gonna hear this, but I'm just being honest at this point. He probably gonna hear this. He follow me on Instagram. In my head, I had to kind of temper what I was gonna say
Hmm.
and change it what I was gonna say. Because one thing about me, I am a thinker. I am an
Yeah,
avid thinker. I will drive around in my car, and this comes from doing Uber. This what got me thinking. From I will drive around in my car, not listen to no music, and just think,
yeah,
collect my thoughts, figure out where I'm going in life, why I'm here in life, and just
yeah,
analyze certain situations, right? So when he's talking to me, as people talk to me, I'm constantly thinking. I'm constantly thinking. I'm listening to what they're saying, but I'm constantly thinking, right? And he said something, and this is where I had to kind of temper myself, right? And I had to what I wanted to say, I had to change it.
yeah.
Because what I was gonna say, we probably would have started fighting, and I'm like, we trying to just have a conversation, right?
Right, right, for
So he
sure.
was like, he said some shit. I'm like, he said, what'd he say? He said, man, you sound hurt. And when he said that, I'm like, I almost said, and you sound like a bitch. But
Right.
I can't say that. I,
Yeah.
I so he said it a few times. So what I said was, I was like, well, I was like, I understand you feel that way, but I'm like, what you saying, a lot of people could say you sound like a female.
Yeah.
And
That's a good way of putting it.
that was my way of changing it. Saying you said he's saying you sound like a bitch.
Right.
People a lot of people would say you sound like a female.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah. I it's nowadays, right? Like we got to deal in respect. Like that's one thing I've always known this. Like I talk about my upbringing. I'm not shy about the fact that I went to prison, right? And like I learned quick that like respect is everything. And so like I don't gotta, you feel me, agree with what you say, but I definitely should respect what you as a person.
yeah,
When respect is lost, then things can get things can get sketchy, right? And so like you know when something don't even affect you, it ain't even no real like it ain't no sweat off your back, right? Like I think it's a shame that when you kind of get hip to the way certain people think and like us being black men, I when I see racial comments under certain stuff like Shannon Sharp, why'd you yell so much? Or, see a picture of like, a video of like two black folks fighting and then somebody that's not black and say like black people hate each other. And it's like I can allow that to like get under my skin, but like I know two things. One, that's not true. And two,
yeah,
um, what they say don't mean shit, right? Like I can't change what they believe, right?
yeah.
Like if you feel that way, you feel that way, right? Like there's nothing I can do. I can't change your heart, so it's
Mm-hmm.
really no point, right? Like and so like I've been able to with a lot of practice to kind of
Mm-hmm.
like learn how to dodge certain square shit, right? Because like
Mm-hmm.
I used to allow a lot of stuff to really take me there in my work I just out and about, right? Like for
Yeah,
real, man. Like I really like I can say I was a hothead, but it was because my wife helped me understand that like you expecting people to be like you and they
yeah,
not. And when she said that shit, it really, really hit home because I was like, damn, right? Like I was expected. to conduct myself in a certain manner. And if I didn't, this is what that meant I was. And so, like, being in the work industry, I was like, why is this motherfucker like this? Like, they on some sucker shit. And then I had to realize, like, well, shit, like, they not like me. They not from where I'm from. They're not cut from my cloth, or like they haven't like been where I've been or had that expectation, right? Like, I can't hold them. I'm not gonna say like I was head first in the street, but I can't hold them to a street standard if
Yeah,
they soft, right? Like,
yeah,
I'm gonna be what's the word I'm looking for? I'm gonna be disappointed every time, and then I'm also gonna be upset. And
yeah,
so once I kind of gathered that, it really did help myself, right?
yeah. Be like, I guess it's because I'm getting older. That I'm kind of the same way. Like at my job, like niggas that do certain shit, I'll be like, really, nigga? You that's what you did, bro. All right,
Right.
bro. Bet. I got it. Like a few weeks ago. It's certain shit I will put up with. Like niggas to talk shit all day. I don't give a fuck about that. I'm here to make my money, sell my cars. But when it come to just cause I lost so many niggas to snake shit, that's something I haven't got to the point where it might not be no shit like where no snake shit like a motherfucker kill you, but just
Right.
little shit. I can't let it go.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
all right, perfect example. I sell cars, right? So we got this thing
Wait,
called
wait. So you work at a dealership? Because I
yeah.
seen the okay. I thought you kind of did like the Turo or like the Vroom or something. Like you had
Nah,
your
nah,
own
nah,
thing.
nah.
Okay, but you so you
Yeah,
work at
yeah.
all right. That's what's up.
So the way it worked, okay. So we got this thing called e-leads. That is, they say that is the Bible. Whatever is in e-leads is how it go, right?
Yeah.
Now me, um, I'm straightforward with it. I ain't
Yeah.
gonna try to play you out your customers. Don't try to play me out my customers. If
Right.
you got a problem with something going on, come talk to me. I tell motherfuckers, come talk to me, bro. I'm reasonable, bro. I'm reasonable. You could motherfucker come talk to me and we can figure this out. Like let's talk this out like men or grown people, right?
Yes.
So when it comes to that shit, I don't cheat nobody. Your customer asks for you, I'm gonna bring them to you.
Yeah.
With it, I shoot straight because I don't want nobody to do that to me. So it's got this thing where you got to answer the customer in 15 minutes, right? If you don't answer it, it's fair game, right? I
Yeah.
ain't gonna lie, I take niggas leads. That's because
But
you
it's
ain't
after
answering it.
15.
Yeah, I play by
You
the rule. I play by
right.
the rules. I
Yeah.
like that's one thing Nick can't say. I took his lead. What time I took your lead?
Mhm.
Oh, it was after 15 minutes. Okay, don't come talk to me,
So
bro.
is it like a software or something that you can see, or like
Yeah,
how? Okay. Okay. I
it's
want
a
to
it's
get
a
the picture in my head.
it's a system. All right. So say a customer inquire about a car, right? It's gonna
Yeah.
pop up. The person that inquiry that the lead is for, it's gonna go to their phone or it's gonna go to their email, right? And they
Yeah.
got 15 minutes from the time it come in to answer it, right?
Mhm.
So niggas know I take leads, and I don't got no shame about it. I tell niggas, look, this how straightforward I am with it, right? A motherfucker come to me like, hey, bro, your lead, you got a lead. They called in, right? It's your lead. And my first question is always, what time it came in?
Yeah.
They be like, such and such. I'm like, they called in. I'm like, that's your customer, bro. That's how
Yeah.
straightforward I'm with it. I'm so meticulous, like I play by the rules because I know I take so many leads, so I can't be mad when the motherfucker come take my shit.
Right. Right. Right.
So what happened was this girl she came and hollered at me one time, said, hey, and I didn't even question it, right? She could have been lying, but I'm going off the street. Hey, you came and talked to me, you did it the right way. I'm a big proponent of let's do it the right way. That way it's no problems, right? So she came and said, hey, the customer you was talking to, I was already talking to him, right? I didn't fact check or say, hey, let me get proof. Like, nah, you
I
came
just
to me,
trust what
okay.
you said.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
trusting your word. Feel me? So the set come around again a few days later, right? She got a lead set and I took it. It came in the night before. I waited till we opened at 9. I waited till 11 o'clock to take it, right?
Yeah.
She so I message him. I send him email, I call him, I send a text message. Then we got this thing called Roaster, it's an online buying process. I send him
Right.
that. I text him on my phone. I did everything I was supposed to do, right?
Yeah.
I put my notes in the thing, so I'm covered, right? So then she see I'm working it, right? So instead of coming to do what she did last time and try to act like she did what she was supposed to do, she decides to send the customer pictures and try to snake me out the customer. And huh. So
Pictures
he
of what
called
though?
in the car. Just I send the picture of the
Oh,
car.
okay.
Like but everything is timestamped. What time I send this,
Yeah.
what time she send that. So then the customer called me. He texted me, hey, what's the address? Right. I'm like, oh, this the address. He texts me on my cell phone and then the thing. So
Yeah.
everything is notated. I give him the address. He called, he said, hey, what dealership is it? I'm like, it's Hyundai. He like, okay, boom. He like, I'm like, okay, I'll be there in 5 minutes, right? He called me. He like, oh, blah, blah, blah. He like, oh, I'm with such and such. I'm like, what? So I'm puzzled. I'm like, huh?
Yeah.
So I go look in the thing. I'm like, and I go double check because say if I take your customer and I don't realize you text them, I'll give you that customer back all day.
Yeah.
I will that's how straightforward I am. That's how solid I am. I will give you that customer. If I message your customer and they answer to me, that's still your customer.
Yeah.
So he said, yeah, I'm with Wudu. I'm like, huh? And he hung up. So I'm like, I know she ain't just take this customer. So I go tell I'm like, holla at the man. I'm like, hey, I think Wudu did Wudu. He like, okay. So I see her, right? I'm like, hey, you I asked her about the car. I'm like, you got the key for this car? She's like, yeah, I got a customer here. I'm like, okay, who the customer? And she showed me. I'm like, you can't just take that customer back. She like, no, I was messaging him, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, let me see. I'm like, I messaged him before. I'm like, your timestamp is at this time. My timestamp is all before yours, right?
Yeah.
So long story short, when she did that shit, I'm like, nah, player. So we could do shit like this. This how sick this shit is. I could have literally let her work the whole deal and said, I want credit. I want the whole deal. She can't get half of none of this. Like, because it's either those situations is either a split most of the time. If we work in the same customer, it's either a split. But I was like, nah, she had me fucked up. She tried to play me. You ain't do this the right way. And I told my managers, I'm like, bruh, y'all know I don't play that type of shit. If you do shit the right way, it's gonna go a long way with me. But if you do shit wrong, I don't got no sympathy for that. Cause I had too many niggas that died off some snake shit that I'm just not putting up with that shit. They're like, so what you want to do? I want my whole deal. They're like, but she went on the test drive, work numbers. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I waited till she they agreed to numbers and said I want my whole deal. I'm like, she finna learn today.
But that's because you deal in fairness. And so when she came to you, it was fine, right? And okay, for sure, go ahead. But she didn't want to give you that back. And instead of coming to you like an adult, because you guys probably have some kind of cool rapport to where it's
Yeah,
like, oh, okay, yeah, well, how like I did this much, but like, so while now we should split it, but because she
yeah,
was trying to backdoor it, essentially trying to backdoor it, you know what I mean? So then it's like, well, nah, like I want all of mine, and because you got the timestamp to where like you waited till 11, they still didn't do nothing, blah blah blah, right? Not blah blah blah, but like you did your due diligence, so it's like, it ain't nothing to talk about. It's all me. What you want,
yeah,
boo?
yeah. I was just like, and they know like, and so the GM got involved because she went to him. She was still trying to fight for the deal, and both the managers went to behalf of my back. There's like, it's not so much. It's not so much he want the whole deal.
Yeah,
It's more of he's a principled person. Like certain stuff, I just can't put up with that. Like I can't put up with you trying to play me like that. Cause just how genuine I am. Like when she came to me the first time, I even told him, I said, the first time this happened, right? We had a situation like this. You came to me. I didn't
yeah,
even want proof. I believed you. So if she would have literally just came to me, I probably would have believed her. But that's how I know. And then what's crazy, she tried to do the same thing with somebody that was sitting right across from me. I
oh, so
said,
she got priors. She
yeah,
she
I'm
she
like,
got priors.
such and such. He like, yeah. I'm like, she messaged him. I'm like, let me see. I'm like, no, she didn't. I'm like, the computer sent her that. She's sick around here. Think she just getting away with shit like that.
Yep, nah, that's real.
Yeah. Let me see. All right, I got some questions for you.
All right, let's
First,
do it.
I'm gonna start off with I asked all the married people this since I'm engaged. And the goal of getting married is to stay married. It ain't to get married and be ready to get divorced in 3 months, get divorced after 5 years, after 10. The goal is for me, I feel like the goal is to stay married. If I'm gonna do this, I'm here. I'm in this for the
Okay.
long haul. I ain't get
Yeah.
on
Well,
this one
shoot.
knee. I ain't get on this one knee just to say, hey, after 2 years, I'm tired of you or whatever. Nah, I'm here. So
Yes.
my question is, give a nigga some marriage advice.
So the first, it's cliche as hell, but you really want to marry your friend. And the reason I say that is because, like, it's not enough to just love each other, but you also need to get along. And I think this is the wrong one, boo. I think that here, that's the wrong one. That's not iPhone. S- Yes. So, I think you really, really want to marry your friend because, like, in marriage, you guys are business partners as well, and unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, I think the process of being married sometimes you can kind of forget that, like, um that you guys, like, have a good time and like laugh and enjoy each other's company, right? Like, you
Mm,
think about when we were younger, you just like to be around your friends because they was your friends, right? Like, they was your boys. You had sleepovers, you had all that shit, right? You played basketball, you just hung, right? And so, like, being able to do that with your partner is important because, like, as you guys grow and your life continues to grow, like, you can get lost in the sauce of, like, just the business and the kind of, like, the what am I trying to say, um like the everyday stuff of being married, right? Like, you wake up, you go to work, she go to work, you start getting into a routine, which is good because, like, I think routine is healthy, so you guys can kind of, like, know what you guys got going on, right? But, like, you can get too lost into the routine and forget that, like, that's my girl, right? Like, we have
yeah,
we have we have fun. Like, we crack jokes. We silly together, right? Like, we can go out and do little role playing stuff like that, right? Like, and so, like, I feel like one of the best things is, like, remember, like, you want to really marry your friend. You want to marry your
yeah,
best friend, right? Because, like, you'll have male friends and you'll have your homeboys from, like, when you was younger and everything, but that it don't die off, but y'all grow up. And
yeah,
so, like, when it's all said and done, all you got is your lady. And so, like, you want to make sure that it's not just a business transaction. It's not just because I love you, right? Like, it's because, like, you my friend and you make me happy, you make me laugh and shit, right? Like, and so I think that's definitely important. The other one, though, is this is hella important to me too. Marriage, you you have to be willing to be selfless and you have to be willing to compromise because although people say that relationships and marriages are 50-50, there's always times where you might give more than she and she might give more than you. But as long as, like, you guys equally compromise and, like, and nobody feels like they're, like, being taken advantage of, that's the most important part because, like, there are going to be moments where, like, you're going to have to pick up some slack. There's going to be moments where she's going to have to pick up some slack. And so, like, you be selfless and you don't think about yourself, you think about that person because when you start thinking about yourself more, like, you become selfish, but you want to
yeah,
be selfless in a relationship, right? Like, my one of the I always tell people, um like, I tell my wife that she has adult ADD. We've never been diagnosed with the shit, right? But, like, I tell her that because I've noticed that, like, she can do something and then something else will happen or something else will grab her attention and she won't finish that. And I had to ask myself, like, am I gonna let that? Am I gonna let that annoy me, or am I gonna accept that, like, that's just, like, I wouldn't call it a flaw, but, like, that's just something that she falls short at. Why would I just pick up the slack, right? Because I
yeah,
know, like, certain things that I do that I might not even realize I'm doing it. She pick up the slack, right?
yeah,
Like, we considerate of each other and we selfless. We care about each other more than we care about ourselves. And those two, and so like those two are my big like one twos. Marry
Mm,
your best friend and be selfless.
yeah, yeah. I'm telling you, motherfucker at my job can buy a car. Hey, give me some marriage advice. Like I want all the advice, cause like I said, I'm in. If I got on one knee, that means I'm ready to do this.
No,
You know
it's
what I'm
real
saying?
shit.
Cause I could be out here fucking hella bitches, but I just got. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you, nigga. Growing up, I used to be. I wasn't shy, but when it came to females, I used to be a little nervous. You know what I'm saying? Then I got to a point where I wasn't so nervous. Like
Yeah,
senior year of high school, that's when I kind of broke out. And then after that, I started uh getting my shit together. Then
right.
like when was that? 22, 23. That's when I met her. Feel me? And then I was feeling her. I'm like, okay, let's do this. Let's get together. Let's get in a relationship, right?
Yeah.
But niggas fuck up. It is what it is. So I fucked up.
It take us longer. It really do.
Yeah.
It's something that people don't like to talk about because like certain some women might think that it's an excuse, but like we just mature. We it take us longer to mature, right? Like it really really does. And so like there are though you do make mistakes with a great woman. Like
Yeah.
you can have a great woman and still make mistakes because you just haven't matured into the man that she needs you to be. Like you're definitely that guy that she was attracted to and everything, but like you still growing into like the man that like you're not a finished product by any means necessary. By any means, men take a lot longer, and it's a truth that a lot of folks don't want to hear, but it's honest.
And I was crazy. Like I said, I think a lot, and I knew that. I was like, I'm not ready for a family. I'm not ready to stand up and be on my own. Like if I need to take care of this shit, I wasn't ready for that, right? So what I did was, I ain't gonna lie, I fucked up. I got caught, and I was like, and she was like, but I was already like, I need to. My thing was, I need to move out and be on my own. I never lived by myself. I never had my own spot. I was like, I need to know how it is to be on my own, how it is to rely on myself, not have no safety net, and figure this shit out. That way, when I am ready, I know how to do it. I know I can't complain when shit gotta be done. If I'm late a little bit, I gotta figure this shit out. So that was my whole thing. I was like, I need to live by myself, so I know what it is to actually take care of myself. Because if I can't take care of myself,
Yeah,
if I can't pay my light bill, if I ain't paying my rent, how the fuck am I going? How could the fuck could I ask another person to depend on me? How could I
yeah,
ask another person to start a family with me? How could I ask another person to bring a child in this world and I'm not dependable on myself?
yeah. That's real. That I
Yeah.
when so I had my first child is from a previous relationship, right? And you never ready, but you make the best of it, right? But like I knew when that unfortunately that didn't work out. We went our separate ways, but like still want to make sure I'm being the best father that I can with the circumstances that I'm had because like the kid is usually going to go with the mom and unless she's on drugs and stuff like that, that whole stuff, right? But like you want to remain present. But getting with my wife, I, I didn't want to do that again. I did not
Mm-hmm.
want to go through that again, and I wanted to experience having you know both of us in the household, both of us, and what we feel is important in our values and stuff to be pushed on to our child
Mm-hmm.
because unfortunately if you do have a child by someone that doesn't that might still be scorned or something like that, right? Like your views and her views aren't gonna align, but the kids usually gonna pick up on that, right? And so like it's unfortunate, but my first daughter kind of is I'm dealing with that right now, right? So like um I've never been the type of guy to want to make the mistake twice, and so when it came to me getting married, um I wasn't ready at all, but I did know three things. I knew that I wanted her to be happy. I knew that I was going doing it was going to make her family happy, which I really, really, took near and dear to my heart. And the other thing is that like um she had said something to me that like never left. She was when I was in construction. She was like, if something, because I did heavy equipment operating, and she was like, if something happened to you in construction for whatever reason, or and you die, she was like, I'll never get to see Amaya again. And I was like, you know what, you're right. Like I didn't think about it like that, right? Like there are
Mm-hmm.
certain things that a wife gets privileges of doing versus just a girlfriend. And
Mm-hmm.
when she said that to me, that was one of the things like I really was like, okay, like you might not be 100% ready, but you can't expect this girl to keep on waiting. And you got
Exactly.
more than enough reasons to do so. But that was the one that really kind of like really put life in perspective for me, right? And it
Mm.
was, the best decision to be honest, because as you hear me talk about a lot on my social media, right? Like I believe we better together. Like
Yeah.
and as soon as you can find somebody that you feel decide that you really want to be with and share your life with, like it just gets better, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm not rich, but together we are fine. And it's so much. If we in the Bay, it's so much. I ain't saying just get
Oh
married for
man.
financial reasons, but like let's not kid ourselves. It's hard to make it out here with one income, and so having two is a lot better, and it just allows you to open doors that you wouldn't be able to be open, right? Like I ain't no tech person, like I'm not no CEO and shit like that, right? I'm a blue collar dude that drive trucks, right? So like like I make solid dough, but like by myself I wouldn't be able to have my house and shit, right? Like I wouldn't be able to do that. Yeah, I would because I don't have that type of employment. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't go to college. So like do I go back to college at 37? I don't think so, right? Like that's not in everybody's cards, but
Yeah.
like getting married because this is people nowadays believe that like it's not going to work or it doesn't last. That's not true. The people that say that are the people that they're not ready. And the people that's breaking up fast, I just heard that like, dang, it's finna get divorced. They was only together 2 years. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. If your marriage only lasts 2 years, you wasn't in it for the long haul anyway. And that's some
Exactly.
real shit, right? Like it's just no way because like you don't do all that stuff and plan it and spend all that money just for it to be over in 2 years. That's 24 months. That don't make no
Yeah.
fucking
That's
sense.
that ain't shit. They was probably dating way longer than that.
Thank you, because
Hey, let's.
me and my wife dated for 5 years, and we've been married for 5 years, right? So imagine if
Okay.
we got married for was broken up at was divorced after 2 years. Your equation would be absolutely right. Y'all dated for five, and then you only made marriage last for 2 years. Y'all wasn't ready.
Yeah.
Somebody wasn't ready.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And a lot of now I'm learning with how motherfucker. I'm stubborn. She's stubborn. I'm stubborn. But at the end of the day, as a man, I gotta let certain shit go. Like when she say certain shit, sometimes I gotta be like, all right, whatever. All right, bet. What'd you say? All right, bet. My bad. My bad. My bad. You got it. You got it. You got it.
I'm gonna tell you. Um, so like in the kitchen. This is a great example of like how you just kind of learn like to navigate each other, and it's not that you're avoiding shit, you're just learning and understanding the best way for your guys' world to work. So like
Mm-hmm.
I'm more of a cooking guy, right? But because of my schedule and and how early I got to go to sleep, and because the white wife work from home now, she's adopted the cooking stuff, right? But
Mm-hmm.
there are days that I get home and like because I start at 4:30, I'm usually off no later than 2, right? And so like that's plenty of time for me to get home, work out and everything. But like when I see that like maybe the day has just been kind of tough, maybe Rylan has just kind of been kind of fussy, like I open the refrigerator and kind of prep and do everything right, or like like I pick up the slack where I know I can and I should, because what I learned early in our marriage was that like you guys are a team, and she's gonna be your biggest cheerleader, and you got to be her biggest cheerleader. But any problem y'all got, it's y'all's. It's gonna be you guys just to work and figure it out, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so like when it comes to the kitchen, I believe, and I was kind of taught like the dishes and everything should be clean before you start cooking and stuff like that. She doesn't really. She It's not that she don't do it, but like her version. it's not the same as mine. And so like I remember I would come home and I'd be like, damn, like, like I was like, you ain't do certain things, and I started to see that I was nitpicking and nagging, and I was like, well, that's not gonna do us no good, right? Like,
Hmm.
so what can you do on your end? Because it's not like she's doing it on purpose. It's just that
Yeah.
like her process ain't the same as yours, and so I remember telling her like, you know what, this is what I'm gonna do on my end because I don't want us to go back and forth over something silly as some fucking dishes, right? So what
Hmm.
I would do is when I came home and I noticed certain things, right? Like I'd be like, okay, boom, I got it. Before I did my shakes, before I took my pre-workout and start working out, like I would just do my part, right? Because I know she's not like I'm just not watching this so you can get mad, right? There's other stuff going on in the fucking house, and so like
Yeah.
we're a team, so we gonna work together. And so as she see me doing it, she would kind of like when she remember and when she notices, like, because like I said, adult ADD, right? It's a running joke in the house, but it's a true a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So like she follows suit a little bit, right? And so it's like, do you do you nag at something that's not necessarily going to change, but I know she ain't doing it on purpose and she's trying, or do you say, okay, how can I what can I do to help the situation? And that's what
Yeah.
that's number three on my list when in marriage, right? It's that
Hmm.
compromising, right? Like some people say, like, well, you always compromising. That's not that's not true. You just hear about mine, you don't hear about hers. She
Yeah.
compromised a lot for my shit too, right?
Yeah.
So like, but again, it's being selfless and it's understanding that like you guys are a team and you are going to be better together than you would be separately or at each other's throats.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's some great advice. I ain't gonna lie. I really appreciate the advice because,
For
like I
sure.
said, I said I'm in this for the long haul. I'm still learning. I ain't perfect. I ain't gonna never be perfect. You know what I'm
Oh no.
saying? So I'm gonna just roll with it, keep going. You know what I'm saying? But one thing I do appreciate her about her is some women do not apologize for shit they do.
I
I
got
know
stories. I got stories.
I know she don't want to apologize, but I do appreciate when she do. I be
Yeah.
like, she don't know, but I really do appreciate that shit. Cause some shit happened the other day. She was like, I'm sorry. I should have did this or I should have did that. And that's big to me because I see so many women just like is scared to apologize. Like, why you like you fucked up? Like you fucked up. Like it's okay to apologize. Apologizing don't mean you're the worst person ever. It just means you
Yeah.
realize I made a mistake. And I'm kind of teaching my nephew that right now. I'm raising him and he he kind of his thing is he don't like to accept responsibility for his actions, right? And he got the perfect and it just happened by design. I think I swear it was God. It happened by design. I was he did what he do. I was yelling at him because I keep saying, bro, you gotta stop giving these weak ass excuses, bro. I said, don't
Yeah.
nobody give a fuck about them weak ass excuses. Get it done. And if you fuck up, just say you fucked up. Just
Yeah.
admit you fucked up, bro.
Mhm.
Just admit that. I said people will respect you more if you say, man, I fucked up. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. I said that's what take a real man to admit when he fuck up and his flaws, right?
Yeah.
So then some shit about his school, and I'm in the car going off. I'm like, blah blah blah. You keep giving me weak ass excuses, blah blah blah, some. And then so then I just told him take responsibility for your actions, right? Just own that shit. You fuck up, own it, right? So come to find out, what he was telling me was the truth, right? He said,
Yeah.
nah, the project whoop whoop. So I immediately went to him like, look, I'm sorry. Like you
Yeah.
was right. I
Yeah.
apologize. You would I'm sorry for yelling at you. You know what I'm saying? But I apologize. And I felt like that was God teaching that was his way of helping me teach him the lesson.
It was a teachable moment because
Yeah.
like you gotta practice what you preach, and I'm big on that as well. And I know one of the things it had been so before we got married. So I grew up in and out of the church, right? And so like
Hmm.
um about my early teens, my mom got us in a different church or whatever, and so like I kind of like stay with that at least in contact with those church folks even throughout like getting in trouble, going to jail and shit, right? And so like one of the things they had recommended was like, since you guys want to get married, right, like come to these premarital counseling sessions. And the one thing that I took a lot of stuff from it, but one of the things that
Hmm.
I thought was really important because it goes to marriages and just other relationships like you and your nephew is um, there's going to be things that get solved and there's going to be reoccurring things. And I know for me, it's we in my household have some stuff that like just kind of like just goes with the wind, right? And then the other things that kind of like reoccurringly, that kind of just come up from time to time, right? Like it's just it is what it is, right? Like there's some things that aren't always fully solved, but like each time that it comes up, it's a moment to learn from it, right?
Hmm.
And so like that's gonna be y'all, right? Like you're gonna have like this ain't gonna be the first, it ain't the first, and it ain't gonna be the last conversation, right? It's just it is what it is, right? But like it's always gonna be a lesson that you're able to learn from it every time it come up,
Hmm.
because like I said, we mature so much later, and so like that was a moment for you. The next time something come up, it's gonna be a moment for him. Actually, it kind
Yeah.
of seemed like it was a moment for both of y'all, right? But like that was
Yeah.
more so your moment of showing him, right? Like I say this that I want from you, but now I'm showing you that I can do it too. Because if you didn't
Yeah.
apologize in that moment, everything that you've been trying to preach for him would have been all for nothing.
Yeah. And the crazy part, he wouldn't even knew. I took it upon myself as like, hey man, your teacher, you was right about the project, blah blah blah. He didn't have to know the teacher told me that. I could have just like, nah, he don't need to know that. But nah, fuck
Yes.
that. If I'm my thing is, and you can see this in my videos, I think that the problem with the black community is a lot of us men are not stepping up and being that man that we are supposed to be. We are
Yeah.
not stepping up and being the leaders. Without a strong men in the community, it's not. It's just you can't. You're never gonna be able to get that shit on track. So my thing is teach him because I heard some shit. I don't know if you watch you be watching people do reactions on YouTube.
No, I can't
Okay,
say that I do.
so
It
it's this
cut
dude.
whenever it come up on the on the on,
Uh,
on my Instagram, but I don't actually actively go and
mhm.
seek it.
So it's this dude named DJ Ghost. He do reactions. He from LA, right? And his reactions, he give a lot of like advice and shit. He a street nigga, so his shit is more street perspective, right?
Mhm.
And he said some shit that just I'm like, man, that makes so much sense. He was like, look, he was like, when you raising a boy, you're not raising no boy, you raising a man.
Mhm.
When you raising a baby, that's when you raising a boy. But when you raising a young boy up, you raising a man.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I need to raise him in a way to where he's gonna be a productive man to society, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So I'm like, I need to teach him certain skills that is going to help him navigate this, and people can depend on him and respect him as a man. You know what I'm
Nah,
saying?
that's real. So I'm glad you said that because like so Dion is at Colorado
Yeah.
University, right? And part of his mantra is I'm not just coaching these boys to be football players, right? I'm coaching these boys to be men and
Hmm.
productive men in society. And so like I think it's two points I want to make. There's definitely things that all men should kind of learn and kind of get as they get older. Um, and that's because that's just on the human side. But the other side of that is that us as black men, we have such a unique experience in this world that like when you raising and teaching young black boys to become young black men, it's that much more important because the risk
Yeah.
of this what I call year round tan, right? Like it come with
Hmm.
some shit. And it's not fair, right? But like we didn't choose it, there's nothing we can do about it, right?
Yeah.
Like it is what it is, right? But like so nah, you real talk because like I like to I, people don't like us to separate the two because race is such a sensitive subject or a sensitive topic. But like I don't run from that kind of shit, right? Like you're gonna raise boys to be men, right? But then us as black men, we got a greater responsibility. And it's something that we should be taking pride in, right? Like because like you said, with not having men in the household and stuff like that, right? Like you get boys raising boys. And that ain't good at all, right? Or
Yeah,
you get women raising boys and they don't really know. There are certain women that are strong enough to raise a young boy into a young man, um, but they're few and far between. They really,
yeah,
really are.
yeah. I put it like this. I make it as basic as you can't teach a fish. You can't A fish can't teach a fisherman how to fish.
Exactly.
Like you maybe can, but at the end of the day, these boys need positive male role models that they can look up to and give them guidance and saying, man, that don't do that, bro. Why are you doing that? Like the video I posted the other day with the kid choking the teacher out. And I
Yeah.
was like,
Okay. Let's get into that.
why is you in the comment saying this? Like, why is you telling this boy to be emotional? That's what you teaching him to do. And that's the problem. A lot of us grow up and be emotional because we
Yeah.
around women all the time, and women they emotional and they can't help it. Because how can you not be emotional? You gonna carry one day you might carry a baby in your stomach for 9 months. That's
Yep.
emotional. So y'all built to be emotional because y'all have to be emotional to care for this baby. Y'all have to be emotional to be like, I'm not gonna drink alcohol because I got this baby in me, right?
Yeah.
So what time happens a lot of times when we're being raised by women, the only way some of them know how to act is emotional,
Yeah.
and that's because nobody told them, hey, sometimes you calm down, right?
Yep.
So my girl, she was in the car, and I'm like, it is what it is. No, I was in the car, and I had her on speaker. And she like when we was moving into the house, she was like, nah, fuck that. I'm finna cuss them out. I'm like, bro, it ain't that. She like, nah, they were supposed to
Yeah.
bring it today, and they fucking my plans up. I'm like, it ain't they fault. And she like, I'm like, what happened? She like, the truck broke down. She like, but they still should have been here. I'm like, man, calm down. Like, it ain't
Yeah.
that serious. Like, calm
Yeah.
down. But it is what it is. She gonna do what she do, and I'm just I'm gonna say something. Be like, my thing is as a man, you know, you gotta let your girls get her shit out, let her get it off, and then later just come to him and be like, look, I know you tripping, but it ain't that serious. And
Yeah.
with her, and this is everything with him, it has to be a lesson. Like when she see him going off, when he see her going off doing shit like that, immediately after I got off the phone, I said, look, don't do that. I said, as a man, you think logically. I'm like, don't get all in your emotions. And I explained to him, I'm like, look, sometimes in life, it's just shit just gonna happen. Ain't nothing you can do about it. I'm like, ain't nothing we can do that the truck broke down. You think they wanted the truck to break down? You
Right.
think they want another day? Like, damn, I gotta deliver this fucking shit tomorrow when I could be delivering something else. No,
Yep.
it just
Backing them up.
it just is what it is.
Hmm.
But as men, we gotta start teaching our young black boys, hey, stop, no, stop getting so upset. Like it's gonna be all right, bro.
See
Like
the
how
thing.
they go ahead.
Go ahead. No, well, the thing with that video that you posted, so like, and I commented and said like it starts in the household, and you know, you can we can assume that there isn't a man in that household
Mm-hmm.
because with like once a boy becomes like 14, 15, you need a strong man to be that authoritarian, right? Because like
Yeah,
we were 14 and 15 and like you think you something, right? And so like you can obviously tell that like the way so let's back up real quick. We know that like there's rules in the classroom, right? Like I'm a firm believer in like you don't even need your phone at school. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Like you really don't. But I guess because all the other kids have it or whatever, right? Like, and you might need to call me, even though I can go real old school and say, you just call me from the office, right? So, but
now
like,
what's funny
but
about that, I don't mean to interrupt you.
no,
Funny
no, go
about
ahead.
that, my nephew, he get in trouble at school a lot. I was like, look, I'm gonna help you out. You can't bring your phone to school no more. How about that?
Yeah,
That way
yeah.
they ain't calling me saying he got his phone out. I'm not finna hear it, and they ain't gonna have to worry about it no more. When you come home, you had your phone. When you at school, no phone.
Not,
And,
it's real talk. So like that teacher probably has rules in the classroom that says like you shouldn't have your phone. You can't have your phone like out and doing whatever you're doing, or it's need to be on silent, right? Like, but like clearly he broke those rules. The mere fact that that young man thought it was okay for him to push up on another adult is already a problem, right? In my opinion, because I didn't read all the comments, but like it's all good until until that teacher decides that you ain't gonna put your hands on me. I don't get
Exactly.
paid for you to put your hands on me. I'm the adult. I know, like I mentioned my temperament and earlier in this earlier in the podcast, right? And so like I have a low pain tolerance when it comes to like being hit, right? Like if you
Yeah.
playing with me or something, right? Like I really do. And I remember like my wife played a lot and everything, right? And it's fine, right? But like and I've learned and like that's my wife, right? But in the beginning, she would do stuff and like my automatic reaction was to well up, like, like
Yeah.
I didn't hit her or nothing, but right, like I would, do that, right? And so I remember telling her like, nah, like it's not like it's instinctual. Like
Yeah.
the way you grew up, what you did, what you was involved with, like you developed those instincts. That kid, if we keeping it a buck, he lucky it wasn't a different type of teacher, right?
Yeah.
That didn't play that shit. But like you think about it, like the only reason that that child felt like it was okay to do that is because it's so whatever he gets away with shit like that at home, right? Like I'm sure he ain't
Yeah.
bucking up on his like hitting his mom, but like somewhere along the lines he wasn't taught and showed that like this is not how you act. You respect your elders, you respect authority, and when an adult says something, like that's what it is. Because he couldn't understand why he couldn't have his phone back. He was wrong 110%, not just for putting his hands on the teacher, but for whatever he did to get his phone taken.
Yeah.
So we need to be that like that's a conversation that's worth having because it's like okay so like it starts at home and you mentioned like well, why the women and like you raise a boy and you just raise a boy and he got the temperament of a man but he don't have the emotional like governor
Yeah.
as a man should have so like he just purely acts on emotion and anger and yes anger is an emotion but what I'm saying is like you get all mad and fiery like a man but you don't know how to control your emotions like a woman and so you just
Yeah.
do shit like he did.
Yeah. And I also what I think it is, I'll be asking teachers. I love asking this question to teachers. I ask them, well, how long you been teaching? And it's the ones that been teaching a while, say they've been teaching 10, 20 years. I ask them, what's the difference between kids now and what's kids now from when you started? They always tell me it's not the kids, it's the parents. Like you got these helicopter parents. Like a lot of these kids is acting that way at school is because they get a phone call home and their mama is like, nah, my son ain't do that. Nah, your son's a little asshole. This little nigga bad as fuck. Nah, my
you
son
know
ain't bad. Like, nah, your son bad as fuck. I'm
what
sorry. Nah. Fuck
what's
that.
funny is when I was growing up it was the opposite for me. My
Exactly.
mom actually believed everything that the teacher said, and there were times when they weren't right. But I'm gonna be fair and I'm gonna be truthful. There were also times when they were, and yes, I do wish that my mom took my side sometimes, but I'm okay with her not because it allowed me to develop that a form of the form of a respect and authority but also
Hmm.
accountability early, right?
Hmm.
And so like what that example you just gave is the perfect example because I'm old school. I'm not hella old. I'm 37, but I'm old school, and I believe like okay, then I need to come up to the school. I'm like, okay, boss, I got to get off a little early. I'm going up to the school. I'm popping up on the kid. I need to see what's
Yeah.
up. Like, are you acting the way they say you acting, or are you not? Most of the time, you might be, but like I
Hmm.
said, like there, the we live in a society now where we're allowing these youngsters to kind of get away with whatever they want. You see it at
Hmm.
certain places, like certain places you go buy some food. There's somebody young working there. They always on the phone. They don't have, you know, like social skills. They don't know how to treat people, customer service, and all that kind of stuff. Like it's all over the place. It's
Hmm.
all over the place, and it's starting in the home. It's starting in the home.
I think the problem is in society we have become too accepting and open of everything. Like,
Yes.
oh no, I can't tell him because he's going. Not tell that little nigga. No, little nigga, you tripping, little nigga. And I think that comes from lack of, like I tell people, diversity is a great thing, but
Yep.
too much diversity is actually not a good thing because you
Okay.
can't have so much diversity. that you lose, and you probably you can notice this because I when I lived in California, I was talking to people in my Uber. I was like, man, this place is great, but it's no lack of community no more. Nobody give a fuck no more.
Yeah,
Nobody gives a fuck. So when you lose that in society, it it kind of fucks it up because okay, everybody's diverse, but everybody's too diverse. Like I don't know him, he don't know me. We don't think the same, and like it's like where's the sense of community? That
yeah,
was when that's how you build a strong environment for kids. You have to have a good community, right? But
yeah.
how can you make a community if everybody around you is different?
Yeah, I think you're talking about having. I think you talking about having like almost like consistency. Like I know, like for example, over here in my neighborhood, um, I notice kids just do whatever the fuck they want to do, right? And it
Hmm.
doesn't seem like like I come from a place where I would tell a kid, right, like, hey, don't do that. Like
Hmm.
I work out early in the morning on Saturdays and Sundays, and there was a couple kids that live up the street, but they was over here across the street from my house at my neighbor's house. I don't actually talk to her, but they was like all on the fence and everything, right? And because I'm a homeowner, I was like, hey, what y'all doing? We playing hide
Yeah.
and seek. And I was like, I said, well, that's her house. And I said, like, I don't know if you should be playing hide and seek at her house, right? Like, and
Hmm.
I was like, and I was like, don't y'all live over there? And I said, maybe you guys should just, go play over there, right? I know what I said was right, but I also had came in the house and told my wife, like, I hope they don't go back to where they live
Until
and
they
say and tell their parents with that, and then somebody come over here and get to be like, well, don't tell my kids anything, and it's like, well, I'm looking out for them, to be honest, but
yeah.
like we live in that society where they don't see what their kids are doing wrong. Nobody wants to say anything, right? Like you mentioned, like kind of doing our part as black men to help young black boys get along in life, right? But you run into a situation where you can't tell a little motherfucker nothing these days, right? Like,
Yeah.
and not to mention these young motherfuckers, they ain't got no reason to do it, but they starting to shoot and everything, right? So like,
Yeah.
I hear exactly what you're saying, and I think for me, like, I agree with you 110%. I like to kind of I go bowling, and sometimes they'll put a group of youngsters by me, and what I do is kind of like observe and see like which one I will be able to talk to in case they like encroach on my area or they don't have the
Yeah.
same type of bowling etiquette. And I remember it happened one time where like I was doing my thing and one dude grabbed my ball. Most people that bowl know like you don't touch nobody else's ball.
Hmm.
You're supposed to ask, and so like dude looked at like the dude that I was kind of like having a little, a little acquaintance with, right? He was younger, but like me and him kind of hit it off. And so like he was the one that told his homie like, nah, that's his ball, right? And then once he did that and I seen that the dude was actually kind of decent in bowling, I was like, hey, go ahead, try this one out and see what you think, right? But like
Yeah.
it was because I made some kind of short-term relationship with one of the youngsters that kind of was I can see a little bit of me and him to where he
Yeah.
wasn't just like kind of just wilding and all over the place. He kind of respected that, like, okay, this is an older dude. He doing his thing, and like he has his couple balls, and so like let me be the one to police them because if I would have did it, it might not have been received well, right?
Yeah.
And so but there's only one or two sometimes
Yeah.
that you can kind of like get your point across to a certain degree, right? And then like what I like to do is I guess you would call it reward them to a certain
Hmm.
degree, right? Like, so go ahead, try it, all right? Like, or
Yeah.
like, before I roll out, slap five, good seeing y'all, man. Y'all be smooth, that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
right? The shit go a long way.
Yeah. Because you just you relating to the humanity in that. Like I'm pretty sure he didn't know like that was a rule. So it was
He
just
did.
like
And
okay,
so
yeah.
like exactly. So it's like we talk about teachable moments, right? Like I think for me, because I do know better and I grew up around OGs that did hold you accountable, but they also like they taught you. I'm a firm believer in tough love, but I know everybody don't respond to that. So at being close to being an OG in my later 30s, right? Like I've learned how to like communicate with the younger group to where like nobody feels offended, nobody feels like like I'm mutting them or kind of sunning them, because they're boys, but they are still they're young men. They got a little pride too, right? So like it's
Yeah,
it's it's how you do it.
yeah. Is a lot of it is your approach. Like I was telling bro yesterday, we were talking about the same situation where you can't tell nobody kid shit, and I was like, bro, I'm at the point right now where if I tell your kid something and I know I got good intention and you get mad, I don't give a fuck. You just gonna have to get mad with me. Cause
That's
at
very
the end of
true.
the day, I'm telling him something that I see that you don't see that I know is right. And if you get mad at me and want to go off on me, that's fine. I'll take that because at least I looked at it and tried to help a situation that I know is quite not necessarily right.
Yep.
Like, don't
Yep.
tell my kids nothing. Like, nah, I'm telling your kids something because ain't nobody telling them nothing. I'm not telling them because I'm on their ass or I think you a bad parent. I just feel like, hey, maybe there's something that you should think about. Or like, I look at it like this. Back in the day, you know how they used to say the neighbor used to whoop your ass and then the next neighbor could whoop your ass. I
Hmm.
feel like we need to get back to that. As a
Yeah.
black community, all these kids is our kids. Like if he doing some fucked up shit, nah, little nigga, come, bro. Go. I don't think you should do that, bro. Like, nah, your kid, blah blah blah, or your kid doing this, and it's not coming from a place of I think you're a bad parent. It's coming from a good place. Like, nah, I think this is how we correct this.
That's real shit. And like so we I think and so like we could get a little racial here because I agree with you. Like I know I don't even think it's as fair, but I do know what I'm about to say is true. Every black person represents every other black person. But like that
Exactly.
that is the way that it was set up. I didn't make the fucking rules. You didn't either, right? But every black person um we all are responsible for the perception that people have of us. I'm willing to accept the responsibility. Like I carry myself in a certain manner because I know I'm representing others. Is it going to do something? I have no flipping idea. But the very chance that the way that I conduct myself and how I talk and how I just like, walk into a room, my presence and how I dispel certain stereotypes, I would hope somewhere along the line that somebody, another brother or another sister, gets to walk into the same room that I walk in and have that leeway to a certain degree because like I killed that stereotype. It's wishful thinking to a certain degree. Lord knows if it's true or not, but I do know one thing.
Hold on, hold on,
We
hold on, hold
don't
on.
for sure.
Why you ain't got no shorts on? Go. All right, go ahead.
No, but I know one thing, like no other race has that. No other race has that like, oh well that white boy did it, so like that white boy gonna do the same. That Asian person can't drive, so that one can't drive, right? No. No other race has that but us. So I think in with talking about community and raise and
Mm-hmm.
having that like community raise each other, right? Like I think it's very important for us because like um we grouped in, whether
Mm-hmm.
we like it or not. Like, I'm not like them niggas up the street, so to speak, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, but like, let's be real. Like, when I walk out the house, everybody else see me as the niggas up the street. I know I'm
Mm-hmm.
not, but everybody, the world sees me that way. So
Yeah.
like, it's my job to make sure that like
Mm-hmm.
I carry myself in a certain manner, right? Like, I don't turn who I am down, but like I definitely know how to be in certain, stuff, right? Like I'm
Yeah.
like because like you can't turn your blackness off. This ain't going
Yeah.
nowhere. When I go to sleep
Yeah.
tonight, it's gonna be there, and when I wake up, it's gonna be there, right?
Mm-hmm.
But no, I agree with you 110%. I actually find myself when I'm whether doing an Instacart or when I'm out and about, right? Like like I observe and I look out for people. You feel me? I look out for other children, especially black children, just because like I know how the world sees us. And it took me a little while. I didn't actually start to really peep racism until I got a little older because I
Mm-hmm.
grew up in San Francisco and it's so
It's
diverse to where I didn't see as much as I seen until I got older.
was
I
it's a
didn't
little
know
bit
certain stuff.
it's a little harder out there because they're not in your face with it.
So
They
where are you at?
I'm in Texas.
You in Texas. Okay.
Yeah.
So yes,
Where
it's
they
very much
look
different.
what's crazy, I haven't met no direct person about it, that's direct with their shit. Like you see a little bit of shit, but ain't nobody like just, oh, you a nigger. Like
But what
I
part
haven't
of Texas
experienced
you
that.
in?
I'm in Houston.
Okay, right. So Houston is like a
Real
baby
diverse.
Atlanta, right? Like exactly. Well, no, Atlanta's the black capital of the world, so let me
Yeah,
not say
yeah, yeah.
that. But Houston
Atlanta
definitely
different.
is exactly. Houston is. I mean, Atlanta is black as 11:59. From the
Mhm.
moment you get on the plane to the you get off, right?
You be
But
like, I ain't never seen this many black people in one spot.
man, you
Like,
ain't
did
never
I
ever.
wait? How long was that flight? Am I Africa?
Yep, that's real talk. That's why I call it the black capital of the world. But Houston is very much diverse, and then but we both know that there are some parts of Texas where like we're
Yeah,
still not welcome, right? You
yeah.
you you know of them, I know of them, and
Mhm,
so like we know better. But you're right.
mhm.
In California, because this is still technically a blue state, people know that they can't be so outward with it.
Yeah, but you can definitely tell. Like they'll do shit like say shit like these extra progressive ass white people. Like they have co-opted the word woke and perverted it, and they use it in such a way was like that's not woke. Woke is being aware. Woke is not this shit they saying, oh, I'm 32 genders. That's not woke. That's stupid.
No, and you, I've noticed. So I'm glad you said that because one thing that I noticed at the pandemic is that like words have really become weaponized to where like being woke is considered a bad thing, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like it's not bad. It's not like if you're a white person that believes that black people should get reparations, they will consider you woke and consider that a bad thing, even though most of us know that is true. Most of us know where that comes from, and because you believe that, you're woke. But it's like no, being woke isn't wrong. And there's nothing wrong with being woke. It's the
Mm-hmm.
people who are not woke. Those are the wrong. Those are the ones that like you got to worry about because they
Yeah,
want things to remain the same so that it benefits them. Like
yeah,
this whole like equality type of stuff, right? Like people still want racism to exist because most individuals that aren't black know that like if the playing field is level, we'll excel
yeah,
and we'll pass them. And most people and there are people who don't want that to happen.
exactly. Yeah, just I don't know. It's just that, and I understand what people mean, but like when because I try to look at stuff from everybody's perspective, right? So on the conservative side, I understand what they mean by man, you woke as fuck. Like nigga, go back to sleep, nigga. You too woke.
Because
Like,
exactly there are you can be too woke like if you buy into all the conspiracy theories and stuff like that like there's definitely a segment of people who have taken it too far, but I
yeah.
just think like if we're talking about wanting certain glass ceilings and walls to be
Hmm.
broken down, I'm all for that. Like
Hmm.
if that's what woke is, so be it. I'm woke. But like people do go too far with certain things,
Hmm.
and I think it's everything need to be a balance,
Yeah.
right? There's some stuff that's just like nah, you bullshit, and there's other stuff like no, that's okay.
Hmm. All right, let's go on to another topic. All right. Who do you think is the problem in relationships today?
There's not one person. There it's a two-way street. It's a two-way street.
Hmm.
When you talking about us in our community, or you talking
Yeah,
about just
I
generally?
only when I talk. I like people say, "Oh, why you always talking about black women, black people?" This nigga, because I'm black. I don't. I care. That's what I care about mostly. So I don't. I don't have. I could talk about white people and white women, and but I
But we
don't
do
really
have
care
our own
about them.
problems. We have
Yeah,
our own problems.
I care
So
about fixing our issues than worry about somebody else's community. Like I'd rather fix us, because at the end of the day, if we don't fix us, who gonna fix us? So that's why
exactly.
I'm talking about black women and black dudes and the shit we do more than whether per se a white person, because that don't really affect me the way it do when I see little black girls doing certain shit, or I see little black boys doing certain shit, or I see these black women leading themselves down the road to destruction just because they want to fuck 30 dudes and like, nah, you can't tell me what to do, or just affect me different. So that's why I talk about it more.
So when it come to so I'm a so this is something that I've thought about for a long time. And so I'm gonna go at it a different way. There's been a lot of conversations about why brothers aren't pursuing sisters. And the way that I see it is that like my kind of like hypothesis is that like if a brother and a sister come from similar backgrounds and similar traumas, they're probably not the best for each other in the moment because they haven't learned how to handle certain conflicts that come in a relationship. um, they don't know how to do that yet. They both respond in the same way. If I'm from the hood and she from the hood, we're going to the way that we handle things are going to be a little volatile, right? Because neither one of us have actually cured or handled some of our traumas. What I
Hmm.
believe that happens is the other part of that is that like you find more sisters that only want to date brothers, and on the flip side, which is just nothing wrong with that, but on the flip side, every other race wants to date brothers. And what
Hmm.
happens is we have more options. It's not that I personally would not say that I'm just like was out there just looking to date another or someone that's not black, right? But what I do know is we have more options. The other side of that is this: most of the time, women that aren't black haven't dealt with the same traumas that black women have dealt with, and so I'll speak from my own personal perspective. When I stopped dealing with my first daughter's mother, I dealt with a white girl. It was a
Hmm.
very different experience, and it wasn't to say that like the my daughter's mom, like it was a terrible experience, but like there were certain things that she wasn't giving me that I didn't even know that I wasn't receiving. And it
Hmm.
wasn't until I got with somebody else and who was raised different, who didn't have the same traumas, who kind of looked at things a little differently. I started to begin to I didn't know that I was damaged. I didn't know that I had my guard up. And it's because like me and my daughter's mom, my first child's mom, we were too similar.
Hmm.
We were too much alike, and so it wasn't gonna work because like we both hadn't handled our shit yet. Once I got with somebody else that didn't have that kind of baggage, didn't have that kind of background like me, it was a softer landing spot for me, right? And so
Hmm.
I think that's what happens. I really do believe. I think that's what happens. You get the combination of two people who come from the same background, and so they're not quite ready to be with each other. You
Hmm.
have sisters that are like, I only want to date a brother, which is fine. But then you have brothers on this end who do want to date sisters, but they also have this Filipino girl that want to date them, this Italian girl that want to date them,
Hold
this
that thought. Hold
Portuguese
on. Hold on.
girl.
Hold on. Hold on.
For sure,
I gotta piss like a racehorse. I'm
for sure.
trying to
Do your
hold that
thing.
motherfucker. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on.
Yeah.
Go back to what you were saying.
So what I was saying was when you have to when you kind of couple all those things together, we're we're not ready. If we're not ready to date each other because we haven't handled certain things, right? Like
Hmm.
she comes from a single parent household, so she has a very hard nosed way of doing things. You come from a single parent household, or and so you have a very hard nosed way of doing things, right? So like when conflicts arise, you guys don't know how to deal with them in more of a caring manner, right? Like you only
Hmm.
react this certain way that you know how, and then you have
Pure
the
aggression.
sister, right? Exactly, because of how you came up, and then you have the sisters that are like, I only want to date brothers, but then you have the brothers that's like, I want to date sisters too, but these other, I have so many other options, and you start to you start to be treated better than what you were treated as, but and it's not because it's because and at that time the sister didn't know how, right? Like,
Yeah.
and you didn't know that this other way existed, and then when you experience that other way, you're like, well, I don't want to go back to that. I don't want to go back to that because like these women over here treat me great. So like and it's nobody's fault. I don't like to deal in like whose fault it is. I like to look at like the realistic part of it, right? Like my
Hmm.
wife is Puerto Rican and Mexican. Um,
Hmm.
who I didn't know I was gonna be with a Puerto Rican Mexican, right? Like it just
Mm-hmm.
happened. It just happened. Her
Yeah.
mom is with a brother,
Mm-hmm.
and now her wife, my wife is with a brother, right? Like it just happened that way, right? But I know when we got together, I was very much more rough around the edges, and I needed somebody that hadn't been through what I've been through, didn't grow up the way I grew up, because it allowed her to like know how to deal with me in a way that we're like, because I'm a Virgo and she's a Leo, we're naturally both kind of feisty, but she had the ability to like give me a softer version of what I needed, to where like I was able to like start to, calm down and like
Mm-hmm.
and smooth myself out, right? And it's not
Mm-hmm.
the and I just happened to run into her before I ran into somebody else that was willing to do that, that might have been able to do that, that was black. So the way I look
Mm-hmm.
at it is it's it's one of those kind of, it's not our fault, it's nobody's fault, right? Like it's one of those things that just is unfair the way that it happens. And it seems to be a little bit more unfair to sisters than it is for brothers, but it's
Mm-hmm.
because we happen to just have more options. And so
Yeah.
like it's an unbalance, but that
Mm-hmm.
goes into that double standard that we talked about earlier, right? Like this is one of those ones that work in our favor, right? And that's
Mm-hmm.
just how that go. The one thing I will say though, that does seem to be kind of like a problem in our community is, and this might be a little bit more on the sister side than it is the brothers, but like you do notice that, especially now, that more more often than not, there are certain sisters that seem to have like a sort of type that they like. And I think when you're younger, there's nothing wrong with that, but it seems like, in my personal perspective, it seemed like the sisters take a little longer to stop liking that type. And by the time they stop liking that type, not all, but some stop liking that type, it's kind of too late. The Prince
Yeah.
Charming has already found his girl, whether she black, white, or whatever, right? And
Mm-hmm.
they're already, doing their thing. And now you
Mm-hmm.
get a sister that's 35 or 36, 37, and her options are very limited. And it's
Mm-hmm.
because, like, one, you got to deal with the baggage that come with however you was raised. Two, you like a certain type of guy because of how you was raised and what
Mm-hmm.
seems to be like the cool image of the guy, and whether it's the light with the beard and whatever, right? Like whatever seems to be hot during that time, right? And then you deal with the person that ain't no good for you for so damn long, and then when you finally decide you ain't rocking with them anymore, it's not too late, but your options are limited,
Yeah.
and so that's how that go. I don't think it's nobody's fault. What I do believe is that it's time for both of us to be honest, both
Mm-hmm.
parties to be honest, and stop pointing the fingers at each other, and just look at yourself and ask yourself what you can be doing
Mm-hmm.
differently so that you can start being dated serious, or so that you're not the last to be wed, and so
Mm-hmm.
that it's more of us, having relationships versus seeing like us going different directions. But I don't think it's nobody's fault.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like to say it's some people's fault, because I know when I was younger, I was a playboy like a motherfucker, and so
Yeah.
like that just came from like how I was raised. My uncles, my bigger cousins, they was like get money out of bitches and shit, right? Like that's what I was taught, and so like I grew out of it, but like I was taught that, and so like it was up to me to kind of figure out what was right from wrong. But
Mm-hmm.
it is something in our community, right? I don't think it's nobody's fault. It's just one of them
Fucking
things,
camera.
man.
This fucking camera. Oh, let me see. You from Fillmore, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, you probably remember me back in the day. I remember you at the club, nigga.
So I always,
You had
since we've been
braids
following each other, I know that like, yo, I'm like, I know, bro, but I don't know, bro, but I know, bro. Like,
from the club.
mhm.
From the
But
club.
yeah, yeah, for sure. But nah, that's the way I look at it. Like I know I be seeing a lot of different stuff, and people just kind of like, it's almost like this merry-go-round and just going back and forth about the same
Mm-hmm.
about the same topic, right? And
Mm-hmm.
it never really get no fucking where. And I'm
Yeah.
like, why are we doing this if we ain't really trying to like get somewhere? But
Mm-hmm.
I think the biggest mistake that people make are in our community is you pointing the finger. Fuck
Yeah.
a point the finger, right? Like we got similar traumas. We black in this fucking country. So a lot of stuff that we go through is only exclusive to us.
Yeah.
So there is no one's fault. It's
Hmm.
just this is how it is. Now let's start doing things to change how it is. So years from now it's not like that.
Hmm.
And
So,
that's personally what you got to do.
so I actually do think it's somebody's fault, but it's probably not what you think I'm gonna say.
Okay,
And
for
a
sure. I'm
lot of
listening.
people don't. A lot of people don't notice about me unless, like I tell people, unless you have like a sit down and have a real conversation with me like this. A lot of people don't understand it's about me because the videos I make, it's all about women, most of them. But that's my perspective. I'm a dude, like, and like I said, like I told somebody, I don't pick these. I pick these videos, but I don't go searching for none of these videos. They just land on my phone, and most of the shit I see people doing is women. So I'm a comment on that, right? When I see a dude doing something, I'm a comment. Like my mom told me, she was like, man, you, because she was like, man, some of them comments you saying about people, some people might feel a certain way. And I was like, look, I told her, I said, look, I can't just talk about women because they gonna think I'm like I actually hate women when I actually don't.
Right.
I actually don't. So that's why I told her, I was like, look, I'd rather have the conversation and say shit about niggas and niggas get upset than for people to think I just hate women, right? Because
Yeah.
in all actuality, I think it's niggas' fault.
Okay. I'm listening. I want to
See,
hear this.
you're probably surprised by that, right? I 100% think it's niggas' fault, and it comes from this thing where I feel like everybody in the black community is acting the way they do, and so I'm gonna break it down how I broke it down on the last podcast.
Okay.
I 50% men's fault, 40% the government's fault, and 10% women's fault. Right?
Okay. I know where you're going, and I like this. I
Yeah.
like this. That to see and what you about to say, because I feel like I know where you're going with this, is why I say it's not either one of our faults.
Mm-hmm.
Because that 40% in my equation is the biggest one.
Uh huh.
Because, but go ahead. I know where you're
Mm-hmm.
going, and I like it because we don't talk about that enough.
And the reason why I give men a little bit more fault than the government is because at the end of the day, this our community. If we
Yes.
don't take charge for this shit, if we don't say, like I tell people, and this come from me getting older, a lot of young niggas, they'll let a female say shit just because they want to fuck. Like, nah, bro. So it's okay to tell her that that don't sound right, or just be play about it, bro. Like, you don't have to be so horny all the time. I know niggas is horny all the time,
We
but you
are.
don't have to be so horny that we are just the first thing we do when we see a woman, or if we ain't got no game. Oh, let me buy you a bag. Let me take you shopping. Oh, let me do this. Let me trick because I don't have no game. So when I say it's niggas' fault because we not teaching young men. Hey, nigga, say this. Feel me? Do this. You ain't don't spend no money on. Don't do that, bro. Because now when I say it's our fault, now they're acting like that because they are adapting to what they are receiving. They're
Yeah.
only doing that because the females are only saying, "Hey, give me some money off the first date," because niggas are approaching them like that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So if
Like
niggas are approaching you like that, why wouldn't you do that? Like
it's
niggas
definitely learned
nowadays,
behavior. It's learned
yeah,
behavior.
like nowadays, why would I wait to fuck a girl when I know I can go down the street, I can go to this club real quick, and I know some girls probably gonna want to fuck me. She gonna probably come up to me because be honest, that's just how Houston is. Females is bold out here. Like I ain't gonna lie, I tell people the first six numbers I got, they asked for my number. And what's crazy about this? When I was younger, I used to be shy as fuck. I mean, I say something to girl, but I wasn't like I am now. Like I can go talk to a group of girls, pick out which one I want, bring a group of girls over here. Like I wasn't like that. I wasn't like
Right.
how I am now. Now that I'm like that, it was just crazy. Like I'm like, damn, girls just really just walking up to me, just like, what's up? So then what I notice is some of them will do this shit where, and it's real prevalent in Houston, where you'll say something to a girl, you be like, what's up? Like you trying to have a conversation with her. Hey, she heard she instantly hit you with, uh, you gonna take me shopping? What? Like, hold on. I'm not that one. You got the right one, but you don't got the right one. Feel
Yeah.
me? I'm not that nigga that's finna just take you shopping. I'm not that nigga that's finna just take you on a trip. I don't even know you, first of all. First of all, I'm raised around pimps. Niggas get money from females. So first of all, you're not finna have me, you're not finna think you finna just come off, hey, take you shopping. But that's cause that is the culture out here. The culture is it's
Mhm.
basically that strip club culture.
Yeah.
Everybody after the club go to the strip club. And I understand it. I can't blame females for that. This is why I say it's niggas' fault. Because if niggas stop being so horny and just learn, okay, this is the way I get females, this is the way I fix this is why I do this, it'll be different. Because niggas won't be so horny and be like, man, I'ma just let her do whatever she want because I want to fuck. I ain't fucked in a while. Nigga, go home, beat your meat, bro. Like, then go home, beat off, nigga. Like, before you go out, beat off. Like, it's okay to jack off. Like, nigga, do that.
Yeah, your
That way you go
brain.
out with a
Yeah.
clear mind.
Yeah, that's real talk. Well, you so it's funny because you say the government, and that gets into more of the generational shit, right?
Mm.
And
But, but
as
also
much
let
as
me let me
go
let me
ahead,
let
yeah.
me let me get to the government part. And the reason why I say it's 40% the government, right? Because the government did do some fucked up shit to us, right? We
Yes,
tried to
yes,
build shit and they fucked our community up with the welfare and all the little shit they did, right?
yep.
And that's why I give them 40% because we wouldn't the men wouldn't be like that if they would have let us stride and progress and become what we were supposed to become, right? But the reason why I give the men a little like 10% more, because at one point, at a certain point, niggas gotta step up and be like, no, this is not the way we do this. This
Yeah,
is
that's real.
wrong. We
Yeah.
do we gotta take control, we gotta take responsibility. This why I'm a big proponent of everything is my fault. Even if it's not, it's my fault. Like you never want to say a girl going out at night getting raped is her fault.
Yeah,
I mean
nah.
it's not,
Nah.
but
It's
if you think about it like this, when you and not the perspective of it's your fault, it's not me saying it's your fault you got raped. The perspective is how do I not put myself in this position next time? Like motherfucker say, oh, my girl cheated on me. Did you know the signs? You probably didn't give a fuck about the signs. You're like, oh no, that's little. But it's your fault because nigga, you didn't take the time to say, nah, this ain't right. Hold on, this ain't right. You just oh, it's little. No, it's not little. This is not right. Something's going on here. And if you just let it persist and something happen, nigga, that's your fault because you could have avoided the situation altogether.
well. You said So you said you
Mm,
so I use the same logic when it come to like um how you how your household is or like so I
mm,
think I'm a big believer in like the man of the house kind of like whether he realizes it or not dictates like how things are going to be here, right? Like
mm,
if you are very consistent, if you have discipline, if you have a routine, then the people in your household will too, right? Like I know like even though we're talking now, I am a man of few words, but I do
mm,
know that like my wife is more of the nurturer and the play, and like and all of that with my daughter and everything. A lot of
mm,
stuff that she gonna get from me is gonna be what I don't say, but what I
mm,
show. And I think that like in the household, you're absolutely right. Like how you move as a man is how everybody kind of else does in your household, right? Like my wife takes after some of the things for me, right? Like I work out, right? Like I ain't no bodybuilder or nothing, but I do work out, right? Like I consistently do that. And so like not because I told her to, but because she kind of wanted to get on my program, so to speak. She does it too, right? Like she does her own
mm,
thing, but like she does it. And when we first got together, that really wasn't her thing, right? Like she would do some class and stuff here and there, but like she a slim girl, right? Like she never
mm,
really had to work out, but like because I do it, she didn't really want to feel left out. And so she's like, well,
mm,
if you're doing it, I'm gonna do it, right? Like, and so like I agree with you when it comes to that as a man, right? Like if you have a solid program and the way that you are and what you putting out there, people want to follow that shit. And
yeah.
and so like I do think that's definitely qualities of a man, right? But um, you know, I would take it a step further when it comes to like whose fault it is. Like you can look at the rap music, Like you can
Yeah.
look at a lot of different stuff in our community that's like it's very much a part of our community, but it's also very damaging. And
Hmm.
most of the time people don't want to talk about that. But I know when I was growing up or we was growing up, because I know we kind of the same age, I knew I listened to the music, but I knew it was entertainment.
Yeah.
I wasn't hypnotized by it to where like I
Hmm.
wanted to be like that. The generation after us and the generation after that generation are very
Hmm.
different in that matter, right? But like um you're right. Like it is our responsibility as men to kind of like walk and kind of conduct ourselves in a certain manner. I really do. I'll go with you there. But when it comes to the dating thing, I think I believe that like we both bear a lot of it, and we both gotta, like you gotta look at yourself and see
Hmm.
like if a woman wants to be wed, she gotta look at herself and what she's doing and not doing,
Hmm.
and why she attracted certain guys, and the guy got to do the same thing. Like if you getting played out all the time and you showing up on dates and the bitch ain't there and everything like that, what are you putting out there to where
Yeah.
like you keep or what pond are you fishing in, right? Like maybe the girls that you're pursuing really ain't the girl that you should be pursuing.
Hmm.
To be honest, you might be dating a little far up the totem pole and you really
Hmm.
need to be down here. That's a personal thing that you got to figure out. But like you got to ask yourself, why are you getting taken advantage of?
Hmm.
Why is people just want to go out to lunch with you and then never call you again, right? Like you
Yeah.
might be dating in the wrong pool. So
Hmm.
it's still a personal accountability kind of thing in my opinion. But I do think as a community, we still got a lot of work to do. We
Hmm.
really do. We really do. But it does start with self.
Like, and to go back to what you just said, how you said, why am I the one to keep getting the girls that just ghosted me, right?
Yep.
A lot of what I noticed when I was younger, what I used to do, and a girl told me this, and I understood when she said it, I was like, man, that makes so much sense. As I got older, it started to get more confidence in myself and start believing in myself. Like, damn, girls really do like me. I ain't gotta. I'm like, if I just be myself and be genuine, and I got a good personality, and I can hold a
Yep.
conversation, it is what it is. I don't have to. You know what I'm saying? My whole thing was when I was younger, my whole thing was, oh, I gotta fuck, let me fuck,
Yeah, we think of
and
it, and that goes to what I talk about our maturity, right? Like
yeah,
we sport fishing, we clapping and we throwing it back in the water, right? Like that's what we did.
yeah. And what this girl told me, she was like, it was crazy because we reconnected. She came out here and we reconnected. Uh, and she was like, what's crazy when you was younger, all I felt was like you just wanted to fuck me. She's like, I don't feel like that no more.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, man, it's because I'm older. I'm like, I honestly did want to fuck you. Like, that's like, I'm just older now. It's like, and the thing is, I don't give a fuck about fucking. I don't give a fuck about that. And I say this in my videos. I tell niggas, stop setting up everything you do with a girl to fuck, because that's when you're gonna get disappointed when she don't want to fuck.
Hmm. And we
Because you are
and
gonna get
go ahead.
so disappointed because you like,
Mhm.
man, she ain't let me fuck tonight. Fuck that bitch. Nah,
Yep.
bro, go take her somewhere where you want to go. Go have fun. Enjoy the moment you are in. Because
Yep.
at the end of the day, your time is more valuable. So is your time just worth a nut, or is your time worth a great memory and a great time?
But you also, if you, so if it wasn't, we see videos and stuff of guys that, fly a girl out and then are disappointed when the girl don't want to, get physical. And I even, I showed my wife some of those videos before, and she was like, like, was it established before the flying out began? And obviously, if it was, then, so be it. And then like, but it's like I believe so. Women control the access to sex. Men
Mm-hmm.
control the access to marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Men, we do not control the access to sex. If a woman
No.
wants to lay down with you, she will. If she doesn't, and that still happens, then you raped her. It's just clear as day, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
why I say, like, as simple as that. They control the access to sex. We control the access to marriage. They can't get married unless we say we want to get married to them, and we can't have sex with them unless they say they want to have sex with us, right? And so,
Mm-hmm.
like, fine. I don't fight that feeling. I don't fight like that natural way that it is, right? And so, um, if a woman likes you, she gonna let you know. There are different ways and there are different signs that she's gonna give you to let you know that she's interested. And there's gonna be different signs and ways that she's gonna let you know she's not interested. And I agree with you that like there's got to stop going into stuff with expectations. A woman nowadays shouldn't just be expecting that like a guy's gonna buy her a whole bunch of stuff and trick off and everything like that. And a guy shouldn't be going in a situation expecting like I'm finna hit him on the first date just because like I bought her lunch and stuff like that. No, it don't work that way. It shouldn't work that way, right? Like you shouldn't have overly like out of this world expectations coming from the chick, and the chick shouldn't have the same about you, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and somewhere along the lines it's gotten that way, but but I'm gonna keep it simple. Stay in your lane.
Yeah.
Like stay in your lane, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you know who you should be dating and who you shouldn't be dating. Like let's
Yeah.
be real. You know what I mean? Like come on, stop playing around, right? Like and you down there, right? So it's a little
Yeah.
different, but it's kind of the truth. It's
Yeah.
really the same, right? Like them girls, they want to if they feeling you, they're gonna press you. If they're
Yeah.
not, then they're not.
And it be crazy because they just be so bold out here. You like I was telling nigga, I was like, bro, we gonna go out, and I guarantee a bitch gonna ask me for my number every time. Niggas was that like they were like, damn, bro. Like we one night we come from the strip club, and I'm walking, and bro, they already came out. I'm walking to the car, and some females pull up on me. They're like, damn, you cute. They was inside. I didn't say nothing to them the whole night. They're like, what's up? You cute. I'm like, okay, what's up? Give me your number. We can link up tomorrow. And I was telling niggas that I'm like, bro, I don't know what it is. It's just something is different down here, and it's
Well, you
cool because
originally from here, and
yeah,
so like our swag is different than down
yeah,
there, and they can
they
see it.
yeah they. It was crazy. One night I was at this one spot and I met these Chicago girls, and they was like, "You're not from Houston, huh?" I was like, "Nah." They was like, "Why you?" I was like, "Why you say that?" They was like, "You're not Houston friendly," and I understood what they mean because Houston black people they different. They cool as fuck. Like they like you like of course niggas shooting, but you ain't gotta go to no black event worrying about like Lake Merritt. Niggas go to Lake Merritt, niggas getting shot every Sunday. Like if it
Check
was
me.
Lake Merritt out here, niggas is chilling.
I know,
Niggas is chilling, bro. And
and was go no go ahead. I do that. Say that. Say that.
it make it so much easier to cohabitate as a black person, right? So I think a lot of what it is, I grew up in it, a nigga grew up in an environment where if I go to a party, I can't enjoy myself. I can't just walk around and be like,
You're constantly on
eh,
guard. You're
yeah, I'm
constantly on
constantly on
guard.
guard. And that
Yeah.
same night they said that, Brandon was like, bro, why you mugging? I'm like, huh? They're like, why you mugging? I'm like, I don't know, bro. That's just me. I'm like, I'm just not used to just being able to go out and just relax. I'm used to having to go out and just be on 10 all the time. Cause I don't know
Yeah.
what I don't who is this nigga? I don't know you, bro. Who is you, bro? And I realized I don't have to do that out here. Now I'm still me. I'm still
Right.
gonna carry myself a certain way when I go out, but I'm able to relax a little bit more.
Now you're right. When we so my brother got me to go to Houston as well as Atlanta, and definitely was very much different. I experienced like the Southern hospitality and everything, especially in Atlanta because it's a lot more. Um, but it is a different way of life, and I'm not that'd be a great topic to talk about another time because I would love to know why that is. Um, and it
Why
probably
what?
has to well why like blacks in the South tend to like you like obviously there's gonna be stuff like hood shit because there's hoods
Mhm.
everywhere, but I did notice that like blacks in the South are much more unified than out here.
I
And
can
I
tell you why
don't
it
I
is.
go.
What because think about this. In San Francisco, what do niggas got to be unified about? What community do we own?
Yeah.
Even
I don't
even
think I can be
even in
I
the
don't
hood,
yeah,
we don't own nothing. Out here, they own shit.
right.
Like you go to clubs, it's a black owned club. You go to restaurants in the hood, this a black owned restaurant. They got a black owned college in the middle of the hood. It's more of they have taken ownership of this is my community because we own it. The person that the police officers, like the police, it's hella black. Like you go out and you go to clubs, you don't see no white police officers, you see niggas And you like these niggas, they cool. Like, I mean, some of them might be dickheads, but you like, this is it is what it is. So I think people look at it more like, hey,
This is
this is our
ours.
community,
Yeah, and
you
and
know?
and 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 what's fun, I'm glad you said that because I think to also tie on to that is like you like out here in Cali, it seems like you black people are kind of fighting for the same thing, and there's not a lot of that to even go around, right? But versus like in the South, like in Atlanta and Texas, even part like Alabama, Mississippi, right? Like there's enough to go around. So,
Hmm.
and I think what people notice, what blacks tend are already hip to down there, is that we're stronger together.
Yeah.
Versus here in California, we don't see a lot of blacks that are as successful as the ones in the South. So because of that, we trying to just hitch our wagon. Like it's like, well, um, I gotta look out for me. Like I gotta look out for me versus like down in the South and everything. It's like we gotta look out for each other. And I think obviously, um, when you are in the South, you are, even though slavery has been done for a long time, you do get that sense of togetherness because like we all we had during that time. And so like I think a lot of that has really kind of stayed. Like you even notice it in the rap game, to be honest. Like when Atlanta rappers and everything started really taking off, they did a lot of collaborations with each other. And you can see that
Hmm.
now to where Atlanta rappers, Texas rappers, and anything in between, right? Like they do everything together. And
Hmm.
they don't they'll branch out, but before they branch out, it's like they're doing a song with each other. Whereas
Hmm.
out here, people are just now becoming like okay with like doing a song with somebody from the rich or
Hmm.
doing a song with some if you're from the city, you do a song with somebody from Vallejo. It's not a normal thing.
Hmm.
It's not like it's not common as it should be,
Hmm.
considering that like you guys are all trying to get the same thing and you will be
Hmm.
better together, but because there's not a lot of like, you don't have the Jermaine Dupri's out here. You don't, like so it's Manny, but it's true, and I'm glad you said that because you really hit the nail on the head with that.
Hmm. And what
What
also is different about music out here, how many clubs they got that you can go to, like just like it's a hip hop club where they play like some nigga shit.
out here?
Yeah.
It's not as many. Not it was it's so I don't go out no more,
Hmm.
but it's the same club kind of all the time,
Exactly.
and it's the same club all the time from what I see on my gram.
And this will make it cool out here, right? It's 100 different clubs you can go to. Like just small, like you can go to a lounge one night. And I tell niggas what is so cool about here. Like at the end of the day, I'ma always be a Fillmore nigga. That's in
For
me.
sure.
It's gonna be in me to the day I die, no matter where I go. Just because where I grew up at and what I got into. Now I ain't saying I got into hella shit, but what I got
Right.
into, no
You're
matter where I
exposed.
go, I still gotta be on my shit, right?
Yeah.
But I tell people, Houston's so big, right? It's so many spots you can go to. Like, say if you know some niggas out here you beefing with, you probably won't run into them niggas. It's so because there's so much different shit that you can go to, and it just be like a cool vibe, right? So me saying that, right? 100 different clubs, right? I can go to the club, and I do this all the time. If I wanted the DJ to play my song, right? Some DJs might not play your shit, but for the majority, if I go to a club, I can go to the most poppinest club that night, right? And if you approach the DJ right, and I always approach him right, hey, how much to play my song? I don't ever walk up to him, hey, can you play my shit? I feel like that's corny. Nah,
Yeah.
nigga, who the fuck is you? Fucking come ask me to play your shit. Nigga, approach me right. Hey, what's up, bro? How much can it play your song? That way you don't feel like I'm trying to just
Yeah.
use you. I'm actually paying you for a
You bringing
service.
something to the table,
Yeah.
right? Like, yeah, for sure.
And what I notice is they'll play my shit, right? And they'll be like, "Damn, bro, this raw as fuck. I'm happy I played this." Like a few DJs, like if I go to Onyx, the DJ there, Rich Life Stone, my nigga, he play my shit. He spin my shit. It's a few DJs. If I walk in, they're gonna spin my shit, and
Yeah.
that's that thing where they really fuck with, like they if they fuck with your music, they fuck with your music. Out there,
Yeah.
DJs might be a little bit, I don't know, bro. What's that, bro? Like nigga, play my shit, bro. I got $100 for you. You gonna play my shit or not? I don't know, bro. All right, bro. Don't worry about it. Don't
No,
worry about it.
I've seen it. It's man, we gotta so. I know probably you supposed to say like when we done, but I gotta go to work in the morning, so I think
Nah, it's
I gotta.
good.
But like I think we should like kind of do this again, obviously, if you want to and everything, because like we got so many other avenues that we can go to. But like, yeah, I the South and the South versus the West is different, and there's a lot of reasons why. And I get why a lot of us are migrating down there. I really do.
Yeah. Yeah, but we definitely gonna do this again.
For sure,
We
we're gonna
definitely gonna
lock
do this
in.
again. Yeah, my
But it's
thing
been
is, like I said, my therapy. This how I get a lot off my chest because I got a lot to say. So I rather say it to somebody that's got something interesting to say back.
for sure. It's 11 down there, right? Y'all 2 hours, right?
Yeah, it's 11.
Yeah, it's 11. Okay. Yeah. All right, big dog. It's good. It's
All
for sure
right, for
good talking to
sure,
you. I'm glad we did this, but we're gonna
for
lock in
sure, for
again for
sure.
sure.
I'm
All
gonna
right.
probably drop it. I'm probably gonna drop it. What I'm gonna do, like I'm doing with the other one. I was gonna drop the other podcast tomorrow, but I'm trying to like I'm still building my platform. So I
Yeah.
need motherfuckers to see the clips. I know the first few podcasts are gonna get views. That's why the first people I'm bringing on, I'm gonna bring them on again at a later date when my
Yeah.
shit is actually rocking and moving. That way I could be like, I appreciate you coming on my shit the first time when my shit wasn't nothing.
Yeah. That's
Appreciate that.
dope. And like I don't even like I know me and you got a lot to say, and I think like even though like even just now, right? Like a lot of we agree with a lot of stuff, but then again, we disagree on some things. But like that's good because
Yeah.
it shows two brothers being able to talk to each other and shoot game with each other and take and but I will for sure say I took shit from what you said, and I know the same,
Mhm.
the feeling is mutual, right? Like that's what I'm trying to do. I want to make
Yeah.
sure, like I don't think I want no podcast necessarily, but like I'm always willing to talk to somebody, so I'm just like that.
And what made me know I knew you had some interesting to say, I be watching your stories and you
Yeah.
be saying shit like I was gonna bring up a topic tonight, but we could talk about that another time.
Okay, for sure.
Where you
Okay.
was talking about like finding career and shit like that. I was like,
Yeah.
man, then
Yeah.
you hitting that shit on the head. So I was like, man,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get him on the pod.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, let's make sure we spin back and do that, because I think that's definitely a good topic. We just was shooting the shit, but I looked at the clock. I'm like, damn, it's 9. I got
Man,
to
I
get
got
up
a
in the
whole
morning.
list of shit I didn't even get to.
Oh, so
Hey, a whole list of
okay.
shit, but I feel like my podcast is more free flowing. Like I like say if I even interview like famous people, like how we just got on and start talking. I feel like that's the best way to do this because this is a free. Now them little dead spots. That's why I pick it up, throw a topic in there. Hey, what you think
Yeah.
about this? I like more free flowing conversations because it's real. Like I could ask you about shit that's going on this week. I had a video to queue up. You said something about To, but I'm like we didn't get to that because the conversation was just so cool. Feel me?
Yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. That's good. That's good to know. So like we can for sure, right? Like we can do it again as soon as you want, right? Because I actually was today I was listening to that podcast, with T.O. So yeah,
Mhm.
we just let me know and I'm down for it.
I didn't even see it. I was gonna react to it, but I'll probably
Oh,
react to it
okay.
on my own or something. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
no, yeah, no, it's good. I think you'll like it. I got about halfway through it. A lot of my like thinking points be coming from like I put on I listen to like three in rotation, and I get a lot of my notes and everything, and then
Because what you
I
didn't
just
know, I could do
what?
this. You can see the YouTube screen.
Yeah,
Yeah, what
it's
you didn't
funny,
know,
bro.
I
I don't
could
know how
pull
to do
this
none of
up.
this shit.
Oh no, this because I a lot of this shit I'm self taught, like editing videos, doing Photoshop. I taught myself that shit. I'm like, I'm one of the people. I figured that shit out.
Yeah.
Fuck it, figure it out. But yeah, I know you got work in the morning, so I'm gonna let you get up out of here.
Okay, big dog. Good talking to you, bro.
All right, bro. You enjoy your sleep, bro.
For sure. Thank you.